this is the place. And we are the people. And we're going to do it. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this shit.
Let's do it. Okay, here we go. Welcome in hello chat room. Thank you for being here. Let's start right now in 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons. Or 2. I don't know if you've been here before. I don't want to assume anything. Maybe you're tuned in for the first time going, man, sure could go for some Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition action set in a unique world that you can't find just anywhere. Well, good news. That's exactly what you found. So welcome. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz, John Jagger, Kristen Ashton, Kyle Ferguson, and Baby Chunks. And we are going to be adventuring today. A reminder, if you'd like to sip a little tea while you listen to us or watch us, go to phoenixpearltea.com/TWBD and check out our signature teas. They're all great, and you should get some. That's phoenixpearltea.com/TWBD. And a reminder at the top of the show, in a week or two, we'll be doing our bonus episode for October. And when we do that, we need your questions. So start heading to the site now. You'll see a form right there on the page. Fill out those questions. Tell us what you want to know about the campaign. You got questions for Bo. You have a question for one of our characters. Whatever it is, we'll answer them and send them on out to our supporters. And then a week after that, everybody else. That's therewillbedungeons.com. And you can follow us on Twitter as well if you have any other questions about it. It's at therebedungeons. All right. Without any further ado, I hand the microphone to Kristen, who will catch us up from last time on There Will Be Dungeons.
Last time on There Will Be Dungeons, the smelt was Lone Lizard Omnom. Disfigured from his dealings with the deluge of demons and dour with a disgusting degree of dejection, he wandered the woods wounded, but the forum with his fang terminated as he turned to a tiefling. He attempted to attack Hope, but Varel ran him to a retreat where Omnom explained his enmity, the Rocket of Reckoning and the Singed City. Hope revealed her reasoning as retreat like his run from Razak Val. Though cut by the comparison, the reptile relented. Varel then suggested a hunt for healing, a hunt all agreed to attempt. At the cottage, elves emerged and introduced intentions. There were therapists and a fey fighter fit to stalk Stanley to master melee, but the main morsel was a curious key to the cottage constructed by Stanley's father. Varel took Nash outside, stealthily steering Hope and Stanley to reconciliation. After reciting a rhyme hummed to him by his past parents, the key came to, floating to a withdrawn ward piled and plastered with parchments filled by Stanley's father. A book of all pages and none, called Stanley's Curiosity. It was loaded with a lifetime of study started by the appearance of none other than Nash, or N4SH. It purported the principal's power tearing at time, but more importantly, it divulged his discovery of his promised progeny and all his son would suffer, and how he still sought that bright but brief existence on Earth. Following a quiet commune with Hope, Stanley was left to learn from a lifetime of ledgers to try and fathom his father's fate. Now rejoin our heroes in the merry morning as they prepare for the promised hunt. What did Stanley find in the paternal publications? How does Nash fit into the future? And what exactly is the coveted critter crawling around the croft? Stay tuned for today's adventure within the sacred halls and green walls of Elhandar.
All right, it's back to you, Bo. Take us where you want us to go.
We return to our story in the middle of the biodome of Elhandar, the great elven forest inside a space station. Deep within the woods, near a passage to the Rainbow Road, is a cottage next to a lake, very small lake, and a stream that runs into the forest which surrounds the cottage. The sun begins peeking for its first slivers of light over the tops of trees and lands on Stanley's face.
Where it belongs.
Stanley, the first slivers of light enter into your room within the cottage, and you feel it warm your eyes as you return to consciousness from sleep.
All right. Stanley's going to get up. He's it was a late night. Gonna rouse slowly, but still very interested about all the knowledge attained the night before, and will very, very slowly and methodically start getting ready for the day.
Okay. Varel, the light now casts itself upon your mound, which I assume you're outside sleeping. Yeah.
Yes.
First slivers of light begin warming the tops of the sand, and you can feel it. You're trained, an innate experience of sleeping in the sand tells you that sun is assaulting the sand that's covering you.
Awesome. I will excitedly set about gathering tools, and would there be like weapons available? Because I want everybody to hunt, not like destroy their minds with spells or fireball the beast.
The cottage appears to have pretty standard cottage things. So as you search around, you know that there's a tool shed with various pitchforks and garden hose and axes for felling lumber.
Oh, perfect. I will use my trait as a lizard folk called, what's the name of it? Cunning Artisan. I can craft shields, clubs, javelins, darts, blowguns, and other things from dead animals, which I have plenty of.
Yeah. So what would you like to manufacture then for yourself?
Oh man, yeah, this has to be nice and themed. Stanley seems the range type, so we're gonna hook him up with a javelin or a spear. Nash, I kind of want to see Nash get in there. Maybe let's get Nash an axe. Like I'll sharpen the.
Can you write these down so you can give them to them later?
Yes.
Or would you like me to?
No, I'll get it.
Okay. So we have a spear for Stanley, an axe for Nash.
And we'll do out of this list here, we'll do a blowgun and needles for Hope, since she likes the range.
Okay, perfect. So you begin setting yourself up to work. You're making this out of the carcass of previous hunts, like bones and things like that? Okay, perfect.
I guess maybe the spear is using like a garden, the tiny shovel in the garden as the tip.
Okay. Now, Kristen, does Hope sleep like proper and still, or does she make a mess of her bed and sleep like all, does she normally sleep peacefully, or does she normally sleep quite like terribly?
She's a tosser and turner.
Okay. So Hope, as you wrestle with your bed and sheets are everywhere and the mattress is sliding off the side, and you sort of look like you're lying down in mid-run in the middle of the mattress, you feel light shine upon your face through the window. And as an eye opens, you see two birds flutter near the window and then land on the sill and peck at each other, then both take off.
Hope will roll her eyes and cover her head with a pillow and try to go back to sleep.
Okay. And finally, we go to Nash, who's wide awake with fork and pipe in his hand, and they're both screaming. And Angelashi is sleeping next to you with the other two children, Boot and Nash Jr. The kids won't stop screaming, and you barely slept a wink that night.
Yeah, I would have not slept really at all. I already had full hit points and slots, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm grumpy and ready to, hand these off to Mom and go. Go hunting.
Angela, she is motionless in the bed.
I'll elbow her and go, wake up! Angie, wake up.
Yes.
You need to take care of the kids. One of them had the shitters, and I took care of that, but the other one, I don't know, probably wet. Either way, you got to take care of it. I'm hunting with Varel today.
She sits up and rubs her eyes and says, you have to go.
Yeah, I do. I committed last night. Don't worry. I mean, I'll be home. I'll play with the kids, and it'll all be fine. But I gotta go.
Okay. You have a nice day, Nash. And she leans over and she gives you a kiss on one of your warts.
My warts. All right.
Your tumors. Sorry, not warts.
That's all right.
Tumory warty things.
I'll say,
And then she looks at you and she says, Can you bring me up a coffee?
oh, yeah, totally. Can totally do that. Hang on a second.
Tell Lyriel when she's free to come see me.
Yeah. I'll have her bring the coffee, actually. How's that?
Sounds marvelous.
Okay. All right, fork, pipe, you guys chill here with Mom. Where's, what's the other one? What's the one that isn't Nash Jr.?
Boot and Nash Jr.
Oh, yeah, where's Boot? Is Boot around? Boot. Get over here.
The other two are in the bed with you.
Oh, they're all here. Okay, everyone just stay here. Don't make any problems for your mother. I'll be back later.
As you set the children next to their mother, you notice there are only 3.
Who's missing?
You do a head count. Do a perception roll, please.
Okay. Hold on, sorry, I didn't have it up. There it is. Okay. We're rolling. Oh, perception. Sorry. Okay. That's a 12.
Okay. You look down at the bed and you see Fork in the bed, and you see Boot Maggard in the bed, and you see Nash Jr. in the bed. All 3 accounted for.
Oh. Well, where's the 4th?
Oh, there's a 4th.
Yeah.
You don't see it in the bed.
And who's not in the bed? Nash Jr. is not in the bed.
You don't remember counting Pipe.
Oh, no Pipe. I'll nudge her again and go, Angie, where's Pipe?
She opens her eyes and she looks at you. She says, I don't know. I thought you were looking after the kids while I got some sleep.
Well, they were all here a minute ago, and there's a lot of them. None of them are old enough to say anything, right? They're all just infants still.
No, they're newborns.
Okay. All right, hang on. I'll find them, and I'll start to look around the room for Pipe under the bed, things like that.
Okay. Investigation roll.
Okay. A 16.
Okay, you look thoroughly through underneath all the dressers and in the drawers and in the bed and look everywhere. We can't find Pipe.
Do I see an actual pipe anywhere? Maybe shape-shifted back into a pipe?
No, that was your investigation roll. You looked all around the room and didn't see Pipe.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be anywhere in the room.
And there are how many doors to this room? Just the one?
Just the one leading outside. Hasn't been opened since you opened your eyes. And you thought you saw a pipe when you first woke up. Or you weren't even awake. You weren't even asleep. You were awake. You had Pipe. You had Pipe and Fork in your hand. Like 2 seconds ago.
Okay. Well, he couldn't have gotten far.
Oh, sorry. My headphones got muted. I'll fix.
He couldn't have gotten too far, I think.
Okay, I'm back.
So, can I... I'll go open the door, careful to make sure something doesn't crawl out with me, and then open it and shut it and get out in the hall.
All right, you open the door and exit into the hallway, shutting it behind you. Both halls. The cottage is quiet.
And
you don't see any living beings.
Pipes, no kids that I can see.
No pipes and no kids.
And no other living beings, you say?
No.
Okay. If I go one direction that isn't to exit the building, where does that take me? Just down a hall?
Just takes you down to the end of the hall, which ends in a window.
Okay, I'll walk all the way down there looking for...
Now, there are the stairs leading up to the floor that Stanley found.
Right. Oh. From that hall?
Yeah, at the end of the hall. The door is closed, though.
In theory, if they're infants, they're too small to climb anything.
Probably. They're also not very coordinated. You're not even sure if they can move around yet. They just lie on their back and go, eh.
Well, this is weird then.
Scott's like, dude, I want to have fun. I've lost a kid.
No. I'm gonna say out loud in the hall. With a fairly loud voice, I'll go, Pipe! Not caring if it wakes
the party
anyone
hears
up.
that, including you, Vorel. You hear your Pipe from inside the cottage.
Do you do anything?
There's no response.
No one responds. Okay.
I can't imagine that this is a unique situation in the couple of days we've been here. Stanley is not acknowledging it.
Okay. I will glance.
You're like, Nash lost the kid again. Whatever.
Yep.
If pipe isn't that, it was just in my arms not long ago. I'm going to just glance up the stairs, make sure I don't see anything, and then kind of rip up and down the hall, see if I can see anything.
So everyone hears footsteps as Nash runs up and down the hall.
And the whole time
Looking around.
I'm still yelling pipe every,
Pipe!
Yeah.
Pipe!
I'm like Luigi in that first
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion. Mario! Like that, but loud. I'm saying pipe over and over.
Okay. Make an investigation roll, please.
I can do that. A 3.
Yeah, you don't find a child or a pipe.
Oh, I'm sorry. That would have been a...
You've looked
6.
everywhere throughout the hallway. You checked out there's a vase and a table holding the vase up. You look under the vase, not there. You check you peek under the doorways to the other room just to see if there's anything.
Well, since
Sounds
pipe
like
is a creature of magic, I should be able to do an Arcana check and perhaps get some sort of trail or something.
Or you also remember that the Tower Nash made your eyeball pop out to find someone you loved.
I remember that he did that.
Yeah. Do you not remember that, Scott?
No, I kind of do.
When how you found Angelashi in the first place was that
Yeah.
he made you.
How
He
did
showed
I do
you
it?
that you have a power to find loved ones with your eye.
Yeah, but how did he do it? We took the eye out, and then what?
You had to force your eye to pop out, and then you just think about the person you care about.
That's all it was?
Yeah.
I was thinking they had some other magic involved. All right, I'm gonna
I mean,
do
it is
that.
magic, but we don't. You as a player don't have to do it.
I'll pop my eye out. I'll force my eye out and remember how I found her that way and try to
So
find
you remember
pipe as
that you
well.
have that, and you pop your eye out, and so as you, your red eye pops out of your head, attached by this, sinewy, stringy, fleshy brain stem that's popping out a little bit, and make a roll, please.
Okay. That's what I got points on, so hold on here.
You can do an investigation roll if you like.
That would be an 18.
All right. Your eye twirls around as it looks around, and then you notice your attention being pulled to a new vision. You're in a dark, warm place, but it's safe in there. And it seems to be like this cavernous wall made of cloth. And resting at the bottom of this pocket is a pipe.
Okay.
It looks like the walls are made of clothing. It's such a strange place.
Is it like a closet?
Kind of, but you see a shaft. You see a shaft of light peer in from the ceiling, like there's maybe some opening in the top of the cloth cave.
Please tell me the pipe isn't up my freaking gash hole. My penis hole.
Is that cloth?
The walls of this cave are made of cloth,
Well,
and there's light peering out from the top. And at the bottom of this cave, resting in a little fold in the bottom of the cloth pocket, there's a pipe lying there.
I don't know what that is. This is a shitty ability. What else?
Your eye, you get frustrated with what you're seeing, and the eye returns back into your head.
So he's in a closet.
He's in a cloth cavern
Cloth?
with light shooting
Sorry.
from the top.
Shooting from the
Although
top.
the light sometimes disappears and opens. It's a strange place. And you see a pipe lying at the bottom of this cloth.
I don't know what that is.
Just a quick table poll. Raise your hands if you know where pipe is.
Really?
All right, let's move on. All right. We return to Varel outside. And Varel, as your creating tools for the rest of your party, you hear footsteps, not trying to conceal itself in the tree line, and then moments later, the elf Dilonoria walks through the tree line, dressed in rugged, greens and browns for hunting travel.
Wait, is it
with
my
a
own
back-
pocket? Is it my own pocket?
Sorry, Nash, are you looking in your own pocket right now?
Yes, I'm now looking my own pocket. Is it my own pocket?
Investigation roll, please.
Holy shit. Hold on. An 8.
Well, you look into your pockets to see if it's in there, and after fiddling around the first time, you don't really come across anything, but you realize you were in too much of a rush trying to look at all the pockets at the same time. After a second review of pockets, you feel a pipe-shaped device in your pocket, and you get the feeling that this is no ordinary pipe because you don't normally have a pipe.
All right.
You pull out the pipe, and you see it's the pipe shape of Pipe Magard in your hand.
Well, then I'll run Pipe back into the room and say, "Don't do that again. You scared me." And I'll put him in the bed next to his mom and then leave again.
And the baby poofs back into baby form, and he's like, he's laughing adorably, not like how I did it. It sounds scary, probably.
All right. Jeez.
right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your next thing, but
No, I'm glad you did. I was hoping that would last a little longer. Like maybe we'd find out much later in the day, but hey.
that would be bad. Take Pipe with me. All right. I don't know what I interrupted, so you guys.
All right. So Dilonoria walks through the tree line in green and brown hunting, clothes, and sees you and goes, "Good morning, Pharrell." He seems very happy and enthusiastic. Is Stanley awake?
Perhaps. I am calf deep in the lake pulling up reeds to make the blowgun.
Should I? Would you like some help, Sir Varel?
Do you already have a weapon for today?
I have them right here. He shows his hand.
Oh. Well, my oh my. I believe that's what the humans on Earth call a badass, sir. So you're going to strangle our prey?
I don't believe my buttocks are evil.
Oh, I see. Yes. Indeed. No, I'm not talking about your villainous glutes. Merely the act of strangling a living being with your bare hands is tenacious.
Strangling? I hope not to strangle anything. It must be humane about how we kill the animal, yes?
Well, I mean, we give it a fair fight. That's the humane part.
And then you hear laughter from the tree line. Ha ha ha! Fair fight is for weaklings! And Omnom steps forward too from the bush. Do not teach this elf bad habits, Forel.
Well, we are not fighting our enemies. We are fighting proud beasts of the wild, Omnom. And they deserve a cunning chance.
Yes, but it isn't humane to strangle another living thing. It is more humane to rip the head from the body.
That is true. We must outfit you with a weapon, sir.
All right, so the two of you, you continue conversation with the other two as I'll leave it more freeform as how you'd like to collect and regroup for the morning. With Varel and Omnom and Dilonoria outside, conducting morning conversations already. Lyriel does poke her head out of the window and make an announcement, breakfast related, because I assume that's being taken care of.
Breakfast is almost done.
All right, with that signal, Stanley's going downstairs. He's got his stuff. He's ready to go. And he's gonna have breakfast.
Okay, and as you hit the main floor, you hear something hit the window pane. You see Dilonoria with his hands on the window, going, "Stanley!" And then he runs to the door, walks in. He says, "Good morning."
Oh, Dilonoria. Good to see you.
You can call me Dilo.
Dilo, yes. Honestly, I'd forgotten you were going to be joining us on the hunt today.
Yes, you told me that you would agree that I could apprentice for you. so I could learn the ways of great heroes of the wastes that you are.
Sure, sure. Forgive me, I had a very busy evening, lots distracting me. Um, you still wish to apprentice under me? You
Nods his head,
don't
yes.
have any magical skill or ability whatsoever.
Um, well, I did study some spell books as a young man, but it was not my field of interest. I like to fight.
I mean, it's just, no offense, but Vorel seems far better a candidate for you to learn from than me. He's the best fighter, or, if it
Oh,
was magic that you were interested in, Nash. Nope, never mind. It would be me in that case. And if you were looking to, I don't know, pick up tenacity and ranged combat, there's something to be learned from Hope. But I'm curious why your interest has fallen at me.
oh. Well, I suppose it's a good question. I do have my martial discipline. My field of interest was not so much in the particulars of a particular martial combat or spellcasting school of magic. It was more what it means to be a hero. So I imagine our methods will be different, and that will propose some challenges for you. But um, the big difference was I saw that though some of our military strategies are effective, in one-on-one combat, elves are not much match for many opponents, except for wild beasts. I'd like to know how to fight other mortals, other thinking mortals, so I can outsmart them. I can't learn that from a martial artist or from a warrior. I need it from a great intellect, and you're no Nath. You must carry your father's legacy with you.
Well, we've collectively decided that we're going to be spending the day on a hunt. And I think this might be a good opportunity to kind of get out there and prove yourself and join us in what we're doing and kind of get a feel for everybody's capabilities as a group.
Perfect. You won't regret it, I promise. I will be out of your way and I'll do as command. And if you have any shortcuts or keywords or things, tactical moves you want to memorize with me, then I'm at your service, disposal. Not disposal service, just either or.
Well, I mean, we really only have the one here. That is, if we're having a dialogue, if we're having a verbal exchange, and we've determined that the need for words has reached its end and it's time to act with violence, we will say lemon tree. That is your
Lemon
key
tree.
to fight. Yes.
Very good. Then lemon tree it is.
What are we talking about?
Oh, Varel. I'm Dilo here is going to be joining us for the hunt today, and I was letting him know that the way we work in a verbal encounter, the key word to signify it's time to fight. Lemon tree.
Ah, yes. Shouldn't come up. This is for you. And I hand him a deer's leg with a dagger pressed through the top of it to make a rude club.
Is it a dagger club or just a club? Or
It
does
is
it have
a.
both?
It counts as a club, but
Okay.
it's got the dagger stuck in it.
Dilo turns to you and he bows respectfully and puts his hands out and accepts the club in his hands. And he says, I don't typically fight with a weapon, but, well, perhaps I'll need it today. How do you know what you're hunting for?
No idea, but something is
But-
hunting the various creatures of this wilderness. There is an alpha predator, and we shall find it.
Just a quick side, Nash and Hope, anytime you want to descend, you can jump in.
I'm going to
Just
bust
FYI.
in right then, and I'm going to grab
Okay.
Stanley by the shoulder and go, "Morning! Who's this?"
This is Dilo. You met him yesterday.
Ah, Dildo, welcome back. It's going to be a great day today.
What was that?
It's Dildo.
saw that
Come hang out with Dildo. We got Dildo here. He's gonna hunt with us. It's us and Dildo.
Excuse me, Mr. Nash.
Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines.
My name is Dilonoria.
Oh, well, that's a long falutin' way of saying dildo. I'm glad you're here.
No.
Oh, what?
It's not short for dildo. My friends call me Dilo, so if you want to call me something shorter, Dilo is.
I said dildo. All right, well, whatever.
No, there's no dough on the end of the dill.
Well, then, I don't know what to call you, but I'm glad you're here.
D-Lo.
Oh, D-Lo. Oh. All right, D-Lo it is. It's not as catchy, but I'll take it.
There could be confusion in the middle of a tactical advances if someone doesn't say D-Lo but dildo. It could cause confusion.
Let me tell you
ranks,
this.
right?
If you hear somebody yell dildo, just know it's you. You're good to go.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
He's sort of in that apprenticeship form. He takes his hazing with grace.
Nash, this is for you. I have constructed you a shield made of a raccoon and the ribs of a deer. It'll protect you during today's adventure.
Okay.
I have also outfitted you with the wood-cutting axe from the garden.
Oh. You couldn't make an axe. You had to borrow an axe to give me an axe. That's fine.
Can you make sure to write that down in your character sheet that you have a raccoon and deer rib shield?
Yeah, I'm putting it in now.
The
And
tail's
that
still dangling from it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, a raccoon and rib cage? No, deer rib. Raccoon and deer rib shield with dangling tail attachment.
Yeah,
Like a
I think
Warframe
it looks
character.
like how I'm picturing it, but how I'm picturing it is amazing.
I picture it as a stretched out body, like a taxidermied body of a raccoon with like ribs to reinforce it, to
Yep.
make it round.
Yep, you got it. One little hand at each corner, you know?
Yeah,
Okay, it's in.
perfect.
Stanley,
And don't
for
forget
you.
the club.
The club is for dildo.
Oh.
And has already been given.
Now you're
Stanley,
getting
for
it.
you, I've outfitted you with a javelin for today's events.
Oh,
You'll note how I've made it from the carcass of the deer using also a garden hoe.
okay. Is there? Let me ask you, Varel. Is there a reason these are the weapons we need to use as opposed to the ones we already have?
Oh, it's a hunt.
Well, sure, but presumably you want me to throw this at my enemies. We
can
fought
also be-
together many times. My sword is more than capable of flinging into something.
Yes, and I have a flaming sword that I can produce at will. You think I would return with the carcass of these various animals should I have eviscerated them on the battlefield?
Well, okay, a flaming sword is one thing. Mine's a little sword that pokes.
Tell me, have you ever tasted of bok fish?
I don't believe I have, no.
Correct. And bok fishes often. Think on that.
Stanley's very busy thinking about that.
Hope, for you and your ranged expertise, I have prepared this blowgun and these needles made of the deer antlers.
Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Umnums enters into the cottage behind. Your great Fang has made you wonderful gifts. You should thank him.
Thanks, Pharrell. This is awesome.
Amnon, will you be joining us today?
Oh, yes. But you mentioned that we might have the possibility to rip heads from shoulders for therapy.
Yes,
I knew
it'll
I must
soothe.
join you, Great Fang. If you will have me, that is.
Very good. Would it honor you if I made you a weapon, or shall you construct one of your own?
No, Omnom must stand on his own feet, so that I may be cured of this sadness once and for all. I will take this sadness, and I will rip it in two, and then I will bury each half in the separate side of the desert, and they will never meet, so as to never be able to affect me again.
A great strategy. Then we feast, to prepare our bellies for the walk.
Yes, I was going to ask, Stanley, is it all right if I partake in Lyriel's wonderful breakfast spread?
Oh, sure. She always goes a
Alright,
little
Dilonoria
above and
leaves
beyond.
immediately. He leaves immediately. He doesn't let you finish talking and goes to the kitchen and starts putting things on a plate excitedly.
Dildo's rude.
He's got a lot of excitement, it seems.
Yeah, and he takes a monstrous plate. I don't want to presume what's there, but I assume there's bacon and
Bacon, sausage, eggs, grits, biscuits, orange juice, croissants, cinnamon rolls. Baked red potatoes.
is there any pie?
There's always pie.
Okay, so Dilonoria takes a massive plateful, just like a heaping plateful of everything you just mentioned, and takes it to a table and begins eating voraciously. Just like, just eating like this massive plate of food. He's just a little elf.
Oh my, well, somebody certainly is hungry. I hope everyone else is.
Before we move from the entryway to go and eat, Stanley would kind of motion Varel aside. Try and speak with him privately for a moment.
Yes, Stanley?
Keep an eye on Dilo.
I agree. He might ruin our march of friendship today.
Just keep an eye out for suspicious behavior.
Suspicious. Very well. I'll report anything I see.
Then go in and join them.
All right, so as you guys are all beginning to chat down for breakfast, Dilonoria looks up from his mountain of food and he goes, "So, I heard you wanted to hunt the great beast of the forest, Varel.
That is the plan.
I mean, how great of a feat do you want to accomplish today?"
It's an odd question.
I only ask because the greatest of quarry is in the forest, and no elf has been able to capture him or kill him.
Greatest.
I wonder, what, the greatest?
You said greatest. And so
Sorry.
now I think it's Elmer Fudd because we're hunting. So this is just a
The greatest play.
I have regrets now. I wish my NPC would have sounded like that. That's pretty funny. No, and he says, "No, it's just well, you are heroes of the waste. You defeated an army of giant demons. Perhaps you would have what it takes to finally best Chester."
Stanley, can I talk to you for a moment?
Oh, sure. Yes.
Please excuse us.
Okay, and Dilonoria looks to Nash and says, "Nash, can I talk to you for a minute?"
Sure, Dildo. What's going on?
All right, so Nash and Dilonoria go off to talk by themselves while you go off to talk by yourselves. You guys go first.
Stanley, I've noticed suspicious behavior.
Okay. What is striking you as suspicious at this point?
Well, you said that he might be dangerous, and I believe he's trying to kill us by inspiring us to go after prey that has felled many an elf here. He could betray us during the battle.
He could. I guess let me be a little more clear. You remember when the principal appeared to us?
Which time?
A couple days ago on the ship.
Yes.
Oh, do you want headphones off for this or no?
No, we can keep headphones on.
All right.
Principal said to me that a certain friend that used to accompany us, me specifically, that he took away, was on the loose and was going to be making its way back. I find the idea of a elf suddenly very interested in learning from me specifically a little bit odd. I've never really considered myself heroic. I certainly don't think there's much I can teach somebody who punches his foes. I mean, I got in a bar fight once and I hurt my hand just throwing a single punch. It just strikes me as a little strange. I'm more concerned, not that he's going to try and kill us, but that maybe he's hosting a guest that I would rather not have return.
Which friend is this?
The one that killed George Miller.
Oh, yes. But he's in a crystal.
Apparently not anymore. At least, if the principle is to be believed, it could have just been a threat.
He had your face. Or you were him. He was you.
Yes,
So would he still look like you?
he probably would look like whoever else he was able to latch on to. He's a bit of a parasite, I think.
Oh, that is concerning.
Honestly, I don't know how the whole thing would work now that he's been removed from that. I mean, he had a body when I first met him, but I'm just worried.
Very well. Thank you for alerting me. Now let's ask about this Chester.
All right. And so Dilonoria Nash takes you aside and just speaks quietly to you. Everyone else headphones off.
Oh no.
Oh boy. All right.
Sorry, Nash. I just have a question for you.
Sure.
Stanley keeps looking at me, then walking off with Vorel, and they speak in hushed tones. I think they're talking about me. I just want to please Stanley. Do you know what that might be? Am I doing something wrong?
No, it's probably okay. So you got to understand, we've been through some stuff. We've seen some things. They don't call us the heroes of the ways for nothing, and some of it is, I don't know, some dubious situations that cause a lot of concern. And we've met with some people that are pretty devious and deceitful, and they just don't automatically trust new faces. That's all.
So I look suspicious to him.
Maybe, or it may be that. I mean, for example, Dildo, you went over there and ate like you were an orc. I don't understand what happened there. You're a tiny little elf man, and you ate like you've never eaten before.
I practice jujitsu every day, space jujitsu. Just takes a lot out of my body. I've got to, especially if we're going on an excursion, I just want to make sure I have all the nutrients for the day. Now, who knows when we'll be eating next?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
no.
it just
Do you
seems
have any
suspicious.
advice for me?
Well, no, just always sort of stay where Stanley can see you, and don't make any dumb moves. We've killed people for less.
Okay.
So,
if there's anything I can do to help ease your comfort, you can call me Dildo if you like, if that makes you feel better. I just want to make sure I get to be a part of this. It's a unique opportunity, and I don't want to mess it up.
well, I'm just used to it now, so I'll just call you Dildo out of necessity. But yeah, you seem fine to me.
Okay.
But
if you felt like it, not that I'm asking, but can you let him know that, if you could help, or maybe I should spend time with you rather than Stanley if he's not comfortable? I just want to be with you guys.
I think he's probably less of the two. He's less of a threat to you than Varel. Varel is very straightforward shooter, but sometimes he gets suspicious. So it's him I'd actually be looking out for. Or I would, be on my best behavior.
I'm going to try and do my best to stay out of your way and prove that, I won't be trouble or anything unexpected. But thank you for sharing that with me. I understand now.
Okay. You seem like an okay guy, Dildo.
All right. Headphones back on. All right, so Nash and Dilonoria separate, and Dilonoria goes back. Because he took his plate with him. He returns to the table with the plate, now half done, and begins gorging still. Stanley and Varel, I imagine you return to the table.
Tell me more of this Chester.
Chester. Yes. Yeah, so you've not heard of Chester yet, have you? Some of the elves over in the genetic diversity laboratory, several hundred years back, we're experimenting in creating new and effective species for druidic summoning. They unfortunately created a hybrid of, which an ursine strain, which you would call a bear. They mixed it with some dinosaur genetic information we had and made what is colloquially known as the Barosaurus. Um, it got loose, killed several elves, escaping, and it's been roaming the wild since. It mostly stays away from, bipedals. Enjoys remaining in the forest where it hunts, but it hunts quite efficiently and has thrown the ecosystem off quite a bit. Several hunting parties have been out to try and finally subdue the Barosaurus, whom we've affectionately named Chester. I don't know why he's called that. I think that might have been his name in the lab. And he's been roaming the countryside ever since. Several hunting parties have gone out after him, and none have returned. We found their mangled corpses. So for the past 100 years or so, we avoided the Barosaurus, and the Barosaurus avoided us. But we see the destruction left by the sheer ferociousness of his hunting. Certainly, we can't allow it to procreate, if it even can. But it would destroy the entire biodome eventually. It's a dominant form of predator, too strong for this small part of the Feywild.
Well,
So, yeah, that would be a great assistance to Elfkind of Elhandar if you were able to hunt the Barosaurus, Chester,
yes.
bring him down.
Allow me to speak with my friends. This is no longer a hunt. This is a quest, and one that would service the entire elven community, I believe.
Oh, yes.
Stanley, this is your party as much as mine. I am happy to see that we have forged a friendship with last night's exploration, but shall we perhaps make use of your diplomacy today, then?
Yes, I think that this is going to be a very noble effort for our party. It gives us an opportunity to do some good around here. Certainly is going to help out. It's something that needs to be done. It's going to be a genuine test of those joining us, Omnom and Dilo here, and might remind us why we're here doing what we do.
Oh, excellent. Are we all in agreement? You may keep the weapons as gifts, as symbols of today's union. But otherwise, we shall make whatever force we seem necessary to defeat the Barosaurus and its eggs.
Well, that's a relief to hear, because honestly, I don't think I think I could maybe hit it with this.
Oh, you would have done
Maybe.
terrible, but versus a mountain lion or the like, I think it would have been perfectly acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to use darts. I've made these. Darts? I have the raccoon bones.
Well, maybe we can put them to another use.
It's not my specialty. I was hoping to hold them, though, between my fingers and create some sort of power punch.
Okay, yeah.
But that is not necessary anymore. Hope, are you in agreement that we shall hunt the Barosaurus and abscond with these makeshift weaponries?
Yes.
Very good. We are all in agreement. L'Oreal, we will be hunting the Barosaurus today. Does that bring you joy?
Oh my! If it's a good hunt for you all, certainly the little one is excited as well. Shall it be joining you too?
No, not for the Barosaurus. Surely the little one would be expendable in such a situation.
Surely.
Well then, My friends, to the and I look around and grab an orange juice, to the Barosaurus, and his falling, and the reestablishment of a healthy ecosystem here on board the, what you call it?
The
Elhandar?
Elhandar.
Delecto Bagon.
To the Barosaurus.
The Barosaurus.
To the Barosaurus.
To the Barosaurus, says Dilonoria.
Is Omnum in here? Or is he still outside?
He's still outside.
Okay.
Oh, I must inform Omnom. He will be pleased.
All right, Omnom, as you go outside, Omnom is pacing outside in a circle. He looks up to you. So, Great Fang, what have you learned inside your house of sticks?
We have learned of the Barosaurus, my friend.
Barosaurus.
It's heavy with multiple children, they say, and it'll
The
destroy
syllables
this
of
entire
this-
valley.
The syllables of this word seem strong and terrible. They are the syllables of a worthy foe.
I agree. These elves,
Even-
their language is weak, but they have crafted a fine name for this beast.
Yes. Yes. You have a way of framing the world, Vorel, in a way that makes sense. Not like these soft skins and their confusions. I'm looking forward to hunting by your side, Great Fang.
Now, this foe may be one of the greatest we faced. What became of that necklace we gave you long ago?
Necklace?
Yes, I believe Stanley gave you a beaded necklace of some power. We may need it today.
Oh, you speak of the soft skins' propensity and love for little rocks called jewelry.
Yes, the jewelry serves them well. but
I
also-
have the jewelry amongst my scales, unless it was damaged in the last fight. And he begins picking through his scales, and he opens up a compartment, like a flesh sleeve, sort of on his right side where the skin meets scales. And then he takes a little crook of his claw and puts it through a metal loop, and then pulls out the necklace of fireballs and dangles it upon his finger. Do you wish to have this jewelry for yourself, Great Fang?
By no means. It was a gift to you. You keep it. But today's events may need of such human fashions.
At the risk of offense, little rocks are no gift for lizard folk. Perhaps one of the soft skins would like this to clean their toes.
Is that what they use it for? Well,
Sometimes I've seen metal bands upon the toes of soft skins.
I believe it was an item of some great power. Have we been mistaken? Hoodwinked?
Great Fang, I do not know much about the ways of the softies. I know that they wear things and put bricks of strange substances called soap upon their bodies to remove the strength that covers their skin. They are strange to me, Vorel.
I have seen this soap. It is made of the fats of animals. It is odd. They scent it with small flowers.
I would admire such a thing as rubbing the fats of your enemy all over your body if it didn't purge the essential bacteria upon it. That bacteria is what makes a lizard folk strong.
That is true.
Why would you wash strength from your scales?
And to put such a natural scent upon you would give away your location.
And if you wash yourself, how are others supposed to smell you to know of your place in society?
That's true. You could lose your children. I will
If you
alert
see a
Nash to
man-
avoid this soap.
If you see a man and you know he stinks, you know he is poor and worthy of being beaten.
But what if he smells of greatness?
Well, he is also worthy for you to be beating him.
Hmm.
See, should I beat the poor, no one would give me respect. But if I beat a man of well scent, of good scent, then I will earn respect from all the other well scented.
Does Nash hear any of this?
You can hear it floating in through the window. The windows are open.
Just because I smell doesn't mean I'm poor. I'll say out the window.
I'm under his breath so that only you can hear. I'll do a stealth roll. Hang on. Let's see. It does a Okay, you can hear this anyway, Nash. He says, "That is what we wish him to believe. Correct, Forel."
That he's not poor. He steals from my pocket often. I paid for every vehicle ride in Sigil.
Nash is a pori. He just is lucky that he has the blessing of dragons behind him. Were it not for those blessings.
Remember when vegetable peelings go for an all-time high price? Remember what you said today. I'll remember it. I'm rich with those things. And arrows. Oh no, that's the other guy. That's the clown. Never mind.
The fool. He thinks when I say poor, I refer to money. The humans are twisted.
Nash, we shall craft you an excellent soap made of the Barosaurus, so you may no longer smell poor.
Thank you. Varel.
Yes, you are a disgrace to all of us with your smells.
Fine. I'm used to it.
Is Stanley secretly happy he's getting in shit for spelling?
Stanley's just listening to this thinking. Ed finally says, "You know, normally I have a very hard time agreeing with Omnom and Varel. When they get together, it's sort of like the blind leading the blind, but they're making a lot of sense right now."
Yes, Nash, get yourself some soap. You need it.
Fine, we kill the bear. I have my soap.
Wait, Forel, shall we wait for Nash to clean himself? Before we leave.
He may give away our trail.
The Barosaurus shall smell him for miles in the forest. I think before we leave, we must give Nash a bath.
Can't Stanley just do that thing he does?
Forel begins walking over to the shed. Does this house of sticks have a bucket to put Nash inside of?
Oh, bath time! Yes, there's a trough outside. Should be full of water.
Show me where the
mustn't
trough
be dirty
is,
after
elf lady.
all.
Elf lady, show me where the trough is.
Yes, right this way. And she leads Omnom to this huge trough full of water that's been sitting there for weeks, but because it's an elven forest, it's clean. It's got like tiny lily pads in it, you know, that healthy looking algae.
Perfect. Is it fastened to the ground?
Oh yeah, it's stone.
Oh, it's stone, so it's not. Is it attached though? Is it or just really heavy?
It's really heavy.
Give me a DC.
A DC? Geez, a DC 20. I mean, this is stone filled with water.
All right. Omnom bends down at the waist, picks up the stone bat, turns around, and begins walking towards the cottage with it. Varel, please spot me. I cannot see.
Excellent.
Please not in the house.
No, just near the door, so that Nash will have less excuse not to enter. And then Omnom walks with the giant stone bathtub and drops it right in front of the front door. And it makes a loud boom as it hits the ground. Now, where is that helper? Dildo! And Dilo walks outside and he says, "Yes, can I be of service?" "Get buckets, fill water." All right. And Dilonoria runs to the shed, gets water, and starts running towards the lake and coming back and slowly filling it with water. Nash,
Yeah.
the Great Fang has requested an audience with you.
Okay, Varel, what is it?
Nash, my friend, you smell. And we must bathe you for today's adventure should the Bear of Saurus catch up on your scent and stalk us to our end.
Well, how come Stanley can't just prestidigitate me?
Oh, I'm saving my magic for the combat.
That
You
sounds
hear
like
a voice
bullshit.
from a window upstairs, Nash, saying, "Nash, you really should listen to your friend."
Honey. All right. Fine.
And then you see Angela Ash's head poke up from the cottage above and says, "Varel, Omnom, you're both my heroes." And gives a big thumbs up and then goes back into the cottage.
Well,
It'll be a great gift for your woman.
where are we doing this?
Right here, in this large basin.
Oh, and I will take your clothing. We'll have that washed as well.
Cool. I'll strip it all off and throw it at you.
All right, Nash is now naked but for the bandages over his warty, tubery, cancerous body.
Yep. I'll get into the water.
All right, you get into the water, and the rest of the party is standing in a circle around the tub watching you. Now, where is this fat for washing? Elf lady, do you have fat?
Oh, I cook with it all the time, yes.
Fat for cleaning, not for cooking.
Oh, yes, one moment. She'll scurry back with a bar of soap. And it's got tiny flowers pressed into it. It's a light pink, and it smells of wildflowers.
All right, Num takes it roughly and marks it all up, and little flakes come off. And he extends a big clawed lizard folk hand out to you, Nash, and says, "Here, purge the scents from your body."
All right, I'll start scrubbing it and say 10 gold to the person who drinks some of my bath water when I'm done.
You have no gold.
That's not true. That's not true at all. I have gold.
Soft skins, always trying to buy their way out of hardship.
Just saying, drink, You guys are so tough. Maybe one of you could try swallowing a little Nash water when we're done.
Actually, this is a good idea, Vorel. There's a lot of disease probably in that water, and that will strengthen our body against such things. And Num begins bending down and drinking from the pool of Nash water.
Even the
Hope vomits a little.
That's so foul.
All right, so everyone, the next 10 or 15 minutes are spent in quiet weirdness as Nash bathes in front of the entire party while they watch him.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
scrub myself.
So
down
you're now clean. You soap yourself off, rinse yourself off. Nom's now fully watered up, and you are now clean. Are there any negative effects to being cleaned
For me, no.
for you?
No.
Okay, you're clean.
I just don't care that much. If I'm
Great
clean or
Fang,
dirty.
will you inspect Nash to make sure he is clean?
What would you like me to roll? Because I will make an effort of this inspection.
I do not wish you to roll anything. You can roll survival check, please. To see.
Survival.
Well, we bathe to survive.
Oh, that's true, I guess. That works.
I got an 8.
It's difficult for you to distinguish what was dirt cleaned off and what is just part of Nash's normal existence, which is also quite disgusting. It doesn't prevent pus from coming out of his tumors, for example. And the pus, you've now learned, also has its own distinct smell that can't be cleaned off.
Ew.
Does he at least smell better?
Yes.
Okay.
It's more like tumory pus mixed with lavender now. There's no
Ew.
lavender before.
Oh, that's so gross sounding. What does tumory pus
You've
smell
made a
like?
huge mistake.
It's your character, not
I
mine.
know, you made him, Scott.
Yeah, but what?
In a way, you're making me do this.
I don't know.
This character's sick.
I don't know what that smell is. Who's ever smelled tumor pus? I don't know what that is.
I have memories of stuff like that. I don't know if you want to get into it. Not
No,
for me,
no,
but,
no, I don't.
People have septic legs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's gross.
like sepsis.
There's a
but
stench.
It's real. The pus is real. It's a real thing.
Oh, good lord. All right.
Thank you, Nash. Your cleanliness will aid in today's hunt, and we shall return victorious with bear source meat for the little ones.
All right, well, I need to do one of these once in a while anyway. This won't hurt. It's fine.
Lyriel, says Dilonoria. Lyriel,
Yes?
you wouldn't happen to have a map of the local environs, would you?
Oh, a map. I have so many maps. Let me see if I can find one. And she'll go inside and pull out a map of the area. It's more general than it is specific. So there's like the Singing Meadow, the Cozy Cottage.
Before
labeled on there.
you start pulling stuff out of your butt, you procure the map, and in roll 20, there's now a view of the map from within. and that way you can say the things that are on there. Although those things you said could also be there, they're just not on the map. But yeah, does everyone see that in Roll20?
Yes.
There's now a local map of the Biodome Wilds. You'll see at the south that Villa Ornath is there with the trail leading to Rainbow Road. You'll see a road leading to the harbor, which is the Tiefling settlement. And then as you move north, there's the Forest Wilds leading to the Gatherer's Lodge and the Tranquility Falls, up to the hunting grounds. Farther north is Griffin's Rock Mountains. To the west is the Dankwood. To the right is whatever I wrote there. Carmagelli Forest.
Carmagelli.
Carmagelli Forest.
Carmagelli Forest.
All right.
Yeah, it sounds like a type of pasta.
Yeah, I'd eat Carmagelli.
Anyway, so there's your map. Which you Lyriel procures for the rest of the party. Dilonoria comes over and he says, "May he see it?"
Yes, please take it with you.
Thank you. We'll return it when we're done. And then he takes the map and then he holds it out for Varel, Stanley, and Nash, who's standing in the tub to see. And he says, "All right, look here. You see there's a trail that runs along the river here, just central to the map. We move past the harbor, which you've named. Congratulations. And, we can move up to the Gatherer's Lodge. And then the Barosaurus is known to be spotted in the... What did I write there? Or I didn't write. Sorry, I didn't say that, but... That's the DM saying, what did he write? The Gruchenet. What? The Gruchenet hunting grounds. He's likely in that area."
Very good. Well, we have a large trek ahead of us. Are we ready?
Yes, I believe so.
Fresh as a spring morning. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, so you gather your things up. You gather your hunting equipment supplies. So if you have your bedrolls or any rations, you can load up on as many rations as you need. By the way, before we set out, so go ahead and make sure to put those in your inventory, Nash. And because Angela actually definitely would have packed you a lunch at least.
Okay.
So you're make sure to put rations in your inventory.
Yep.
And any other low end equipment that you might have, like flint, anything you want like that. Let's do that, and we'll actually run into the break. So if you need a bit of time to add, non-magical equipment, this place is well stocked with pretty much anything. Like, I think if there's any equipment that you need, now would be a time to restock it, and not at the price of gold. If it sounds like something weird, like that wouldn't be at a cottage, ask me. Maybe it's still stored there. But take some time and grab whatever non-weapon equipment. So, I mean, if you find a woodcutter, but you don't find like a halberd or something like that here. You either brought it or made it, or Varel made it for you. But otherwise, like flint, tinder, bedrolls, all that kind of business. Take as much as you need. All right?
Okay.
And so you guys gather up on the outskirts of the fenced-in area where the tree line is and walk down the path and onto adventure.
Nice.
And we'll go to the break.
All right, we'll take a break, blah, 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 and we'll be right back with more. All right. Pause that, and that's recording. Okay, we're back, everybody. Welcome back. Where were we? We were leaving. We're on the path, right?
Yes. Yep. So we return to the game. You are just leaving the environs of Villa Ornath cottage upon a lake, and if you refer to the map that Lyriel found and provided for you, you'll see that your party is marked by Mr. Varel here on the map, and I will give Kyle has control of the token. Now, important thing to note about this map is one hex, I think, is a mile roughly, which, according to the rules, if I recall correctly, I put on the maps 15 minutes of travel time at a solid march. So I would say we are about 7 a.m. Let's say 7:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m. Elhandar time. And you may choose to move in whatever direction you wish. However, if you choose to move a direction, I will be asking you to roll a d20 within the Roll20 app, if possible, just for fun, per hex that you're moving. So...
So the roll
And it
20
can be-
app.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
by
see it.
default Varel. Varel, you can add your survival roll to the roll. As you move your survival to the roll. If anyone else is skilled in survival, they can help you, giving you advantage on the roll. At any time, if you want someone else to make the rolls, you can also decide that. If you want it to be someone else, that's your party lead.
I am skilled at survival, so I can give him advantage on the roll.
Okay, and if you want to roll, there should be a rolling option on the left panel. Just pick D20, and you can see I'm tossing my dice out on the table there.
Cool. Well, unless anyone has any objections, while it might not be the direct route, I think we'd stick to the road up until we reach the Gatherer's Lodge.
Okay, so then what we'll do this as is you're gonna roll. You're gonna move 4 hexes at a time. All right. So give me move yourself 4 hexes. Do you have control of the token? Okay, there you see it.
Yeah.
They might not be lined up because the hexes are on the map and not in roll 20. So just approximately is fine.
Okay.
3,
We have
4.
advanced
Oh,
4
4.
hexes down the road.
All right, so you travel for an hour. That's an hour of walking right there. All right, I realized the harbor was described as being much closer. Sorry about that. That was a mistake. The map was already made. It was too late. Roll your d20, please. Sorry, it's not per hex. D20 per 4 hexes.
And he's rolling with advantage, right? Yeah.
Very good. So it's a beautiful, beautiful morning in Elhandar. You proceed down the path and you see beautiful trees. Well, it's a little disconcerting because there's the noise of nature everywhere, but you've gotten used to reading the beautiful symphony of the forest, and you're starting to become accustomed to what's safe and what's predatory in your environs. Happens with that event, you may select your next 4 hexes of movement. Okay, and make your roll. Okay.
23.
Okay, it's now 9:30 a.m. You make your way farther down the path as the sun begins climbing into the sky. It's a beautiful day, but the next hour passes without event. You may make your next selection for movement through the forest. All right. Are you intending on visiting the harbor?
I mean, we're going to walk right by it, and if anything gets rowdy or interesting, I'd definitely slow down.
Okay.
That's a 24.
So you approach the junction where the path leads with a sign pointing to the harbor and another sign pointing to the Gatherer's Lodge, and you continue along the path down towards the harbor. And the trees here become denser and thicker, and it becomes more and more difficult to see inside of the forest on either side of the road. But you bring the party to a sudden halt through this path as you get closer to the harbor, as you hear the sounds of twigs snapping in the forest to your right.
I would definitely slow down the party, but not exactly make military stances.
Okay.
And look towards the twig snappery.
All right. Give me an investigation or perception roll, please, rather.
18.
Okay. Based on the weight of the twigs moving and the fact that they haven't stopped even though you've approached, your instinct tells you there's a humanoid of some kind in the bush to the right, and the twig snapping appeared to continue. There's someone in the forest there doing something, and they haven't noticed your approach.
Okay. Wanderer, let your presence be known. Our party is armed and prepared for battle. Eager for it this day.
Okay, intimidation roll, please.
Sure. 9.
Okay. As soon as you open your mouth to speak, your voice carries out to the forest, and the noises stop. And then you hear a voice call out, I don't want any trouble. Just collecting berries. Hello?
Yes, Berryman.
Yes, I'm from the harbor. My name is Fitz. Who are you?
We are the heroes of the waste. I am Varel Raspim Kirik, here with...
Oh, I'm coming. And you hear the branches and twigs snapping as a tiefling figure cuts through the forest with a basket in his arm and walks into the path and goes, "It is good to see you again." And you recognize him from yesterday's bonfire, which was 2 episodes ago, but bonfire gathering. He was one of the tieflings that was there. He has a basket with berries under his arms, and he reaches out and he looks to Hope and he says, "Hope, my queen." And he bows to you deeply. I did not mean to cause alarm. I'm picking berries for the villagers of the harbor. Would you like some? And the tiefling approaches you with the basket out. Dilonoria walks up and looks to you and looks there, and he says, "Those are delicious looking berries, sir."
Hope we'll try some.
Okay. And you try them, and they're really big blackberries and really big strawberries and raspberries and just everything that is red or black and big and juicy. You just take like 2 of them, and they're the size of almost small apples, and you eat them, and they're delicious, and they're super tangy and sweet.
These are very good. Thank you.
I hope. Would you mind if I had one or two? Says Dilonoria.
If Fitz agrees to it.
Fitz looks and goes, Of course. They're for everyone. They're not my property. This forest is given to us abundantly, and there are many, many berries. I do not mind. Here, take as many as you like."
Yeah, but
And
Dildo ate like 400 pounds of food before we left the village. How do you have room for this?
And the dildo.
I got him.
Dilonoria got me.
I got him to do it.
Dilonoria, in the middle of chewing and having another one, says, "Well, no, what he speaks is true. The forest is quite lousy with these berries. I just wanted a couple more. Admittedly, I'm quite full, but, well, I explained to you, Nash, that I burn a lot of calories in training. And we're planning on a hunt. We've already been walking for 3 hours, and we're not even halfway to the hunting grounds yet."
All right, just seems like a lot of food.
You're probably right. I don't want to fill up too much. And then he puts back some of what he took and pushes away and says, "Nash is correct. I'm overindulging in my excitement."
Well, I'll take any. You got any leaves left? Anything that's just sort of left from these berries?
Tiefling looks to you and says, "Do you eat the leaves?"
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but I just like I don't eat them. I just like to keep them. So just a handful.
He looks around at the forest, the leaf-filled forest, and well, I did not pick any of the leaves. I only picked the berries. But is it any leaf, or did you require a specific type of leaf? I don't make jest. I know that the druids of the Elven Forest are particular about horticulture.
I just want some of the just leaves from the berries.
Why?
Well, the tiefling Fitz digs in the bottom and pulls out a little bit of leaf scraps that are at the bottom of the basket and offers them to you in an open hand.
Oh,
as
perfect.
Stanley says, "Why?"
I'll say perfect, and I'll ignore Stanley. I'll pick him up, put him in my palm, hold it up to my nose, and go, "Oh," and then put it in my pocket.
Fitz looks to you, sidles up to you a bit, and he says, "Are you perhaps looking for a different kind of berry?"
No. Any berry leaves will be fine. I got
I have
what I
to
need.
I have to tell you that I overheard some of the elves talking about the flora of the Biodome Forest, and apparently there are some very interesting mushroom breeds somewhere here to the north.
We have a long day ahead of us.
Nash, and he comes up to you and he looks. He doesn't say it quiet enough so that nobody can hear, but he says sort of discreetly to you. He says, "You know, mushrooms of these kind are able to provide visions if prepared properly. The tiefling people could use guidance. I know in particular, Nobieri might appreciate some mushrooms of a new kind in order to make a new concoction. Would you, if you see any," and he turns to everyone, "if you see any mushrooms of an unusual nature, can you bring them back and give them to Nobieri?"
Yeah, I can totally do that.
Yes. Can you make sure to write it down in your quest log?
Yes,
Well,
I can do that.
I'll write it down.
How many mushrooms? Zero out how many are in the top right
6.
corner right
we
now?
need 6 special mushrooms.
I don't want to inconvenience you. As many as you can bring back will probably be good, but if you can't carry that many, even a handful would be a start. And telling us where we can go get them in the future, as long as it's not dangerous.
All right. We'll find these mushrooms the best we can and bring them back.
Nash, be careful with your promises. The last time you had hallucinations, you burned down a town.
I'm not saying I'll take them or, eat them. I'm just saying if I find them, he can have them. That's all. He says snippily for no good reason.
All right, so just as a recap, my quest log that I have is get mushrooms for Nobieri and tieflings,
Yep.
hunt Chester the Barosaurus, and cure Omnom of the Sadness.
Okay, this is good.
That helpful?
Yeah. Seems like the berries could do a couple of those.
You mean the mushrooms?
Yeah, or the mushrooms. Maybe we can.
Nash is going to come back with berries.
Sorry, mushrooms.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Solved your quest here.
Fitz looks at you all, and says, "Would you like to come back to the harbor for lunch?"
We must continue down the road. We have a busy day planned.
Of course, I envy you in your hunt. I'm not fit as I used to be, but if I were 20 years younger, I would be begging to join you. And then Dilonoria looks to you, Stanley, and says, "See, it's not that strange that I should want to join."
Oh, this is quite a calling. It's dangerous. We haven't gotten to the other side of it yet, but this is the good part.
All right, then. It was a good seeing you again, and my heart is gladdened that the heroes of the waste are patrolling the environs near our home. We have no idea how safe we feel in light of recent events. Thank you. Thank you, my queen.
Hope tries to keep her face as straight as possible, but she's sweating really hard.
Okay, I bid you good day and good luck on your hunt. And Fitz then begins walking back to the harbor along the path.
Excellent. We shall advance down the road.
All right, move your 4 hexes and give me a roll, please.
Oh my.
Oh my.
7.
Okay. So as you begin walking along the road, another hour elapses. At about the 11 o'clock hour, let me just see my notes here. Okay. So the party is, what's the party's walking order generally? Is it single file? Is it 2x2s? How are we
If
all walking?
I'm aiding Varel, I would assume I'm behind him.
So Varel and Stanley are in the top 2. You want to be beside him or behind him?
He'd be beside me right now because I'd be talking to him about the chance of our young companion having a tapeworm.
All right. So that means Omnom is behind Varel and Dilonoria, or Dildo.
Dildo for short.
Is behind Stanley. So 2x2s. Hope and Nash Would you want to walk 2x2s behind those two,
Yeah, I
or
would.
one
Yeah.
by one?
Yeah.
Hope you're okay. You're okay being like in the same row as that.
I'm all clean and stuff now. Just a
It
little
smells
pussy.
of lavender and pus,
Yeah,
but it would be
lavender and pus.
okay.
It's not bad.
Better
Okay.
to walk up beside than downwind.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I say.
So Nash,
Yeah.
as you're walking and you're taking up the rear, you hear like rustling of leaves, just very violently, not like severe or anything, but just like a shh
Okay.
in the forest next to you, and you hear it once and kind of go, oh, maybe a woodland creature, whatever. Then you hear it a second time, it goes shh, and then you hear it a third time, and it's giving you this strange feeling because you're still walking, so it's like something is following along on the right side. The rest of the party can hear this rustling as well, but it doesn't sound like it sounds near and not large, so it's hard to know what it is. But that's happening, Nash. And so on the third shh, it gets your attention.
Hope, do you hear that?
Yeah, a little.
There's something in this bush.
Let's poke it.
That sounds like a good time. All right, I'm going to poke it, and I'm going to poke it with my staff, my skybinder staff, blinder staff.
Make an attack roll, please.
Okay. Okay, there it is. An 11.
All right, so you turn around, you swing with you poke it with your staff,
Yeah.
poke in the bush, and you go shh, and then a couple of squirrels come shaking out of the tree, and they all run around here. They go, they run around, shh, and they go back into the bush.
Stupid squirrels. And then I'll say, don't worry, it was just squirrels. We'll keep moving.
All right. As you pick up the walk again, you hear a little shushing in the bush, shh, in the bush near you, and then you hear it. I'm not stupid. You're stupid.
Oh, shit. I think they're talking squirrels.
Nash, did you eat any of those mushrooms?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Come here. Come out here. You little rat. Come out and show yourself.
Okay. Are you intimidating or persuading?
I'm a unique
Or
combination
survival?
of both.
Are you? Is this animal handling?
You know what? Yeah, it is animal handling. Let's do.
Yeah,
you
make
know,
a roll.
Depends on how intelligent they are. Because I'm. All right, I'll make a roll. That's only got a +1. 13.
Okay, so you say that, and then after a second, the forest is still. Then after a moment goes by, a squirrel pokes his head out of a bunch of trees. And he walks out on a thicker branch of like a dead tree that's like hung over. And then he walks up it. So he's about eye level. And he looks at you, sniffs the tree. Hey, you talking to me?
Yes. Hope. I don't want to bug Kristen because she's busy with babies.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll say, Hope, come here for a second. Look at this. Look, it's for real. Look, it's talking. Say something again.
Yeah, I'm talking.
See?
I'm talking to you, big guy.
Can you hear that?
Hope hear it.
Yeah, can Hope hear it?
Man. Oh, yeah, hope you can see the squirrel talking to Nash.
But can she hear it? Can she hear it speaking?
She can hear it.
Okay.
Man.
I can't say I've ever seen anything like this before.
Me either. I mean,
Well, I've never seen one of you with trees on your head, tree branches in your head. Hey, you. He looks at you, Nash.
Yeah,
Give me
what?
nuts.
Not anymore. I kicked him under the bed years ago.
Where did-
Oh, you mean like food?
Where's your bed?
Never mind. No.
All right, guys, come on out. They're cool. And then he turns around and then he shouts out to some friends, and then 3 more squirrels jump out onto the branch, standing all next to each other and walking. So you see 4 squirrels on the tree branch looking at each other. We're looking for nuts. Have you seen any?
There were berries back there.
Oh, we need nuts.
What's wrong? With,
Preferably peanuts, but we'll take chestnuts.
what's wrong with berries?
They taste like explosions.
Whoa.
Do you have any nuts? And one of the squirrels moves up to you, Stanley, just sort of on the branch, looking. Now that you guys are sort of beginning to pay attention and look back. Hey, you! Hey, you with the hair!
What?
You have any nuts?
Yes, I have several following me right now.
And then another squirrel addresses the other squirrel, and hang on, and says, "Yeah, Toto. Why would you ask him? He doesn't look like he knows where any nuts are." I'm just trying to find nuts for all of us. We're hungry. We're gonna starve to death. We're gonna starve to death. We're gonna starve to death.
Do they look like they're going to starve to death?
Sir, an animal handling roll, please, or medicine roll.
All right, a 10.
You don't know. Yeah. They're squirrels usually. You're like, could be either. One of the other squirrels looks towards the other, walks up to the other one who's been asking all the questions and smacks him on the head, and then they wrestle for a bit and then jump back and forth. And he goes, the one that assaulted the other squirrel says, "You're dumb. You're gonna get us killed. Don't ask some questions about where nuts are. We'll find our own nuts." "No, we haven't found nuts for 3 days. We need to ask somebody."
Well, why would you think we have nuts when the forest is where you get the nuts? Do you often have strangers wander through here with nuts?
Another squirrel speaks up, one that hasn't spoken before, and he's kind of slow, and he goes, "Yeah, man, we're just trying to find nuts, and,
I hate these squirrels.
Why we should... We're just peaceful squirrels, man, trying to find nuts. You know where they are, man?"
We haven't seen any, but
Nash,
you're welcome to follow to find some.
Nash, did you conjure these squirrels?
No, nothing to do with these things. They just
He
showed
said
up.
he didn't find any mushrooms.
I haven't had any mushrooms. I didn't no, there's no magic. They're just here.
All right, and then the one that's been asking all the questions leaps onto your shoulder, Nash, and grips up and then runs into you and says, "We need help finding nuts. We're gonna starve. You can't let us starve, Nash. You don't smell very good."
My baby hand will smack the rat in the face, or the squirrel.
Oh, okay. Make an attack roll.
Okay. Just gonna go whap, like as a defensive mechanism, jumping up on me like that. 3.
Okay, it misses, and the squirrel quickly dodges it, jumping around. He's like, "Whoa! You didn't warn me you had a baby in your back."
It's not a baby. It's a vestigial hand.
"Your baby tried to hit me."
Well, it's because you jumped up on me like this. I don't
Because
have nuts.
it's an emergency. I wouldn't bother one of you tall people if it wasn't important. But we haven't had nuts in days.
What do you give
We
us?
don't have any. What about your
Nuts,
pockets? And then the squirrel
rations.
runs down to your pockets.
I don't have. I mean, are there nuts in our rations?
There might be.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, actually.
Hope's pulling
would-
out her rations.
all right. If we have nuts in the rations, we can give them a nut. I suppose. I just don't know what's in there.
Nuts, says one of the squirrels, and then the other one who's kind of abusive goes, "Nuts!" And then the one that was kind of like chill was like, "Oh, nuts, man!" And all 3 of them sort of jump down, and then the last squirrel looks at the nuts and goes, "Potato!" and jumps off the side, and also runs to the nuts, and they all start filling their cheeks up with nuts.
Potato.
And then one of the squirrels like, "Oh my God, thank you for all these nuts. Oh my God, do you have any more? We need to shelter up for winter. How do I fill my cheeks with things? Hang on, it's gonna be gross. How do I fill my cheeks up with things?"
Oh, jeez. What is that?
It's going very method with this. It's a sock, I think.
Ew.
It's not a sock. It's a mask. I got COVID in my mask now. Oopsies.
Oh, it's a mask?
Anyway. Hello.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, I washed it.
You enjoy that. I think we have to get going now.
Yeah. Of course I have to get going. Don't ever help us. No, I need that for the winter. Do you have any more? Please?
Yeah, fine. And
Yeah.
Hope will pull out another thing of rations.
I just want to say you guys are so cool, man. And the other squirrel goes, potato, tomato, potato, tomato, potato. And they all dance around happily. Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
All right, keep moving then. Don't never say we didn't do anything for you. Have you seen a bear around? A big bear?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying, have you seen one? The Barosaurus. We're on a hunt here. Maybe you can help us. We gave you nuts.
In the forest to the north, you'll find the bears.
Burrell, you hear that?
Yeah, man. If you go north, you'll find the great bear of the forest. Man, you're such an idiot. You need to stop eating so many of those mushrooms. Potato, tomato.
I think one of your guys is confused about what he's eating.
Thank you, Nash. And the squirrels happily collect the, I guess that's it. There's so much napkin in my mouth and COVID.
Yeah, you're all...
So the squirrels dance around happily with the nuts. Do you want to give them extra nuts or just the nuts you initially gave?
Well, Hope gave him extra. Right, Hope?
Okay.
Yeah, for the winter.
Yeah. So they've got 2 rations worth of nuts, however much that is.
All right. So the squirrels gather up as many nuts as they can in their cheek and they run into the forest and disappear. We'll be back for the rest, they say as they run into the forest.
For the rest of what? For the rest of what?
The nuts. They weren't able to take all the nuts in one haul.
Okay. They've been very helpful.
Nash, can we proceed? Are you done?
These weren't my problems. I didn't make these up. This was just them asking. I didn't want them here any more than you did.
They will grow dependent on your nuts. And you will be low on protein for the journey.
I agree, but they wouldn't leave us alone. We can keep moving.
Are you telling me you got intimidated by a couple of squirrels?
Yes. No, I'm saying they were annoying. And the only way to get them to not be annoying and leave was to give them what they came for, which is nuts. So I gave them nuts. Or Hope did.
Let us proceed.
Yes. Yeah. This inquisition must end. Proceed.
All right. And the walking continues. You may make your next roll. Okay.
23.
So, and this is another. So now the afternoon begins, and the sun is now high in the sky, and you approach a bridge over a river that is growing wider and wider, and as you look down, you can see it leads into probably to a lake farther to the north. The bridge looks like it's hand carved, looks almost as good as the day it was made. Everything. The finish on it is shiny and reflective, and there are carvings of like what looks to be like elven forefathers and archfey things druidic in nature carved into the wood. You arrive here without event, and you look around and just see the beautiful grass and beautiful trees and sun and the sound of heat bugs in the air.
All right. After the talking squirrels and the fact that we're hunting a Barosaurus, I want to do in 5th edition, I guess it would be an investigation on the bridge, just to make sure it's not full of attack squirrels or anything.
Sure thing. All right, make your investigation roll, please.
Well, I'm a 4, so I'm ready to go.
All right, the bridge looks fine. Dilonoria comes and joins you for the inspection. And he says, "Oh, it's not necessary to inspect these bridges. These have been installed here since the creation of Alhandar, and they're made of very fine elder wood."
The older they'd be, the more I'd be concerned about creatures living on them.
You're right to think so, but this place is not quite like the forests of your planets that you exist on in the prime material plane. This is Feywild. There's magic in every tree, the purity of life and song of life in every gust of wind.
Tell me, are you hungry?
No, I'm quite full, actually.
Good.
Nope, we're not. I'm not burning. I mean, we're burning calories. We're walking through the forest. This is a good excursion, but not quite as intense as I'm used to yet. But I imagine the test is coming. I look forward to passing it for you all.
Very good. And I start crossing the bridge.
All right. Also jogs up to be by your side, and doesn't want to be left behind in case anything happens. Does the rest of the party cross the bridge?
Yep.
All right.
Full
So everyone
speed ahead.
crosses the bridge without event.
Sweet.
You may
Another 4.
select your next movement and make your rolls, please.
Stanley continues to render aid. Oh, look at that.
Natty
right.
20.
You get double the movement for your 20
All right, hauling butt.
within that hour. Okay, and
You
you make
that?
something like that. It's close enough. Oh, you know what? I can actually remove the fact that it snaps from your thing, so you can just drop it. Wait a minute. Is drawing. There, now try moving it. Should be able to just drop it wherever you want.
There we go.
Yep. So you continue down, making good double time as everyone feels inspired and moves forward quickly along the path. Now, this part of the forest has opened up into rolling hills on your right, and on the left, a beautiful view of the lake, of the river as it opens up into Lake Sumatrali, as you can see marked on your map to the west. There are other bridges and streams, and you can hear the sounds of wildlife all through the forest. Now, during this walk, Dilonoria has gotten curious about one of the party members, and that's Hope. And Dilonoria has sort of slowed down his walk and moved to walk next to Hope, and begins asking her some questions. And he sort of approaches up beside you, Hope, and he looks to you and he says, I don't remember seeing you on the ship. I've heard your name is Hope, but who are you?
I'm part of the Heroes of the Wastes.
Right. The Queen of Tiet Kala that fell.
Yes.
I'm very sorry for you and your people.
Thank you.
I'm sorry we couldn't arrive sooner to help. Are you okay?
Hope stays quiet.
I don't mean to be presumptuous. I'm just we don't often meet peoples of other kingdoms, let alone their leaders, and you've been quite quiet, I've noticed in our gatherings, and I just wanted you to know that you're welcome to participate and speak and invite yourself to gatherings in a judgment-free way. The Elhandari simply want the best for Earth and for its people, so I don't want you to feel shy. I know I'm here in a capacity as apprentice, but the people of Elhandar, their sympathies go out to you and yours very deeply, all of us.
Thank you. And just because one's quiet doesn't mean one is shy.
Certainly.
And Hope goes back to being quiet.
And he continues probing for using probing questions, and everyone can hear this. He's not saying it secretly to you. He's just like, so, how came you to Elhandar?
It's a long tale.
I respect your privacy. If you don't want to talk about it, and well, I'll get back to my place in line. He awkwardly sort of just moves back up to his place, and then he turns to you. He says, "Should you ever wish to speak, let me know."
Hope just watches him.
All right, that's the event of this leg of the journey. Varel, conduct the party.
I think we have a swap.
Oh, we got Chunk's business. There we go.
Chunk snuck aboard in a backpack. Ah!
19.
Okay, 19. Okay, move your 4.
19.
Or if you did, I don't think you moved your 4. So, all right. The passage of the sunny walk continues as we get into later in the afternoon. You may make your next move, please.
All right. Hook me up with a 16.
All right. So move yourself 4 squares where you want to go. All right. Perfect. So as you continue walking in the open grassy knolls, the trees become thinner and thinner and more open. You approach a view now at the crossroads where you can see to the west lakes Sumatrali turn into another stream and river that runs into Lake Merlen. You take the passage heading northeast and find yourself close to a bridge. A similar bridge to the one before, but a bit longer as it traverses over a rather active river to a point where you can see fish jumping out at one part where the water splashes on the rocks and hits a point lower below. Upon the bridge, you see an elf in a straw hat, long blonde hair, in hunting dungarees and in a button-up shirt, fishing off the bridge as you approach it.
Okay. Well, knowing how wordy all the elves have been, I would just leave him to his fishing and try to pass on by.
Okay, so you begin traversing the bridge in the party order we talked about, and as soon as you step on, the wood makes a creak, and the elf sort of snaps into. It looks like maybe his head was down a little bit. And he snaps into attention, and then he looks over, and you see him go, "Greetings! Oh my! Hello!" And he's waving at you with one hand on the fishing rod.
Greetings.
And then he looks at you again. He won't stop looking at you guys, and he's reeling in his fishing rod. And he goes, "It's quite a assortment of people that have come through. Oh, hey, let me pull in my rod." He pulls in his rod, sets it down below, and he wipes his hands on his pants and leaves these marks on his pants. And he goes, "Oh, marvelous, marvelous! Hello, welcome to this part of the Biodome Wilds."
Yes, thank you. We do not wish to disturb your fishing. We are on a journey.
No disruption at all, and I certainly respect the fact that you're on a journey. That's very cool, man. Awesome. I'm Tranquilla, and he brushes his hands off, puts some dirt off of it, and he raises a hand. As is the Earth custom, let's shake our hands in greeting. And an elf hand comes out to meet yours.
Very fine. I am familiar with this custom, naturally.
Okay, you shake it.
Yep.
He goes, "That's very cool, very cool." And he moves over to Omnom and he says, "Fierce warrior, good to meet you." And he raises out his hand, and Omnom crosses his arms and looks down with contempt at the handshake. Do you do anything?
I would attempt to kind of scoot by. Is he occupying the middle of the bridge?
No, he's leaning on the side, but he's walked forward. There's enough room for everyone to like stand, and get about. But this guy is insisting on greeting people, so he's just trying to shake Omnom's hand, and Omnom has crossed his arms.
I would nod slightly to the man and walk by him.
Okay, so you walk by, and Omnom walks by him as well. And he goes, "Oh, whoa. It's a little rude." And then he turns to you, Stanley, and he goes, Tranquilla Quiden. Nice to meet you."
Stanley Billings, a pleasure to meet you.
Stanley Billings. That's no elf name. It's a peculiar thing. Did you have your name changed?
I did. I've gone by a couple. But for
Very
now,
cool.
Stanley Billings will do.
That's very cool. Hey, you don't happen to fish, do you? He says to you, Stanley.
No, I don't.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The catches are real good today. And he points to a bucket near the fishing rod. It's got a few fish swimming in it. And he looks over to Nash and to Hope and to Dilonoria, and he says, "Ah, Dilonoria, good to see you. It's been quite a while. Very cool. What do you do? What brings you to these parts of the woods?" And then Dilonoria looks at him and says, "Oh, my good man, Tranquilla. Haven't seen you in several decades. You're still in the forest trying to find that great catch you've been talking about?" "Oh, yes. It eludes me still, but it's good for the soul to be out in the forest." Dilonoria responds, "Oh, too true, too true. Anyway, I'm here as a form of apprenticeship. These are heroes of the wastes, and they're quite prolific at a certain brand of heroism. Something very strange for us elves of Alhandar, who are civilization oriented, very independently spirited. A unique experience. Very excited. We're hunting Chester." Oh, Chester. Oh, his voice gets low. "You know that no one's ever come back from hunting Chester." Dilonoria goes, "I know. I'm very honored to be a part of this hunting party. I think we might actually do it." "Well, we shall sing songs of it if you do." "Oh my. If my hunting days went behind me, I'd go with you too, man. That is pretty cool." And then Tranquilar then looks to you, Nash, and says, "Charmed, hello. Welcome to the, what did I call it? I can't remember the name ever. The Grushenai hunting grounds. Welcome to you, Nash."
Greetings.
It's an elf with a straw hat on.
Nash Magart of the Solar Mines, and I'll slight bow to him.
"Would you like chewing grass?" And he reaches into his pocket and takes out a long piece of grass and puts it in his teeth and begins chewing the grass.
Would I?
And he offers you a chewing grass.
Yes, please. I'll take it.
All right. Add a chewing grass to your inventory.
I'm gonna chew it now.
Great. So both him and Nash have these long pieces of grass that they're chewing on coming out of their teeth.
Yeah.
It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, this is great.
It's a smoky, tangy flavor. Very grass-like.
What do you call? What do you call this?
We call it wild grass.
Well, it's fan-freaking-tastic, is what it is.
Yes, it's quite good. Helps you concentrate. Something about the motion of chewing displaces anxiety.
Stanley should try this.
It's pretty cool.
I'm good, Nash. Thank you.
"And who's this lovely woman?" And the elf in the fishing hat turns to you with the grass chewed between his teeth and goes, "Pleasure to make your acquaintance, milady."
Hope.
And then Burrell says, "Oh."
He looks to you and he says, "Enchanté." And then he takes your hand and he kisses the top of it. If you give him your hand, that is.
Yeah, she'll go in for a handshake.
Okay, you go in for a handshake and then he takes it with both hands and then kisses the top of it and winks at you.
Hope just shakes her head.
"Well, marvelous to meet you all. What a handsome hunting party you have." And Dilonoria says, "Oh, why, thank you. I'm very honored. Everyone, this is Tranquilla. He is a fisherman of note amongst these parts. So it's good. It's a sign of good fortune that we should cross your path today." And Tranquilla looks and says, "Well, perhaps. I don't know that my better half would agree." I'm just kidding. She's pretty cool too.
Hope will narrow her eyes very hard at this guy.
"Well, I don't suppose I should hold you up for too long. If you've got hunting to do, it's already, 3 p.m. You've got quite a journey ahead of you yet remaining. So I'll leave you on your way. Still a few hours left for me to enjoy the catch. It's pretty cool." And he turns around and he takes his fishing rod and he tosses it out into the stream as fish jump out of the water. And he goes, I'm going to get you. To the fish. Would you like to continue, or is there anything else you'd
Continue.
like to NPC?
Continue.
All right. He's like, give me the bear! Ah! All right.
21.
Wow.
Yeah. Move your next 4 squares. Perfect. And repeat.
$23.
Okay. All right. So you traverse along the path, this time with a stream and river to the right as you move west, and the tree line on your right, the river on the left. Roll the dice again.
All right. 16.
Yeah. And move your 4.
Another bridge.
Okay, you get to another bridge and more forest remaining. You see again, you're now more in open grass fields, but you see a new forest line to the north across the bridge, and ahead of you, according to the map, this would be the hunting grounds that you're approaching. In about 30 minutes, you'll make it there.
Okay, and this would be, you said 3 o'clock at the previous go,
Yeah,
so it'd be 5 now?
We're about 5:30 now. Yeah.
Okay. Della, tell me, is there any reason to not hunt this beast at dusk?
Not much is known about the patterns and tendencies of the Barosaurus. He's quite violent, and when he picks up the scent of his prey, quite tenacious. I don't know that anyone's lived to escape. Night presents unique challenges for visibility. However, it may be asleep, and we may be able to sneak up on it.
Companions, friends. We stand at a choice. We can continue and face the bear beast at some 4 hours from now as night falls. Or we can proceed 2 hours to this Gatherer's Lodge and see if we can stay for the evening.
If I remember correctly, only 2 of us can really see when it's dark outside.
That is fair. But we have sources of light, flames, and
But
Nash
wouldn't
rock.
that draw attention? Didn't we bathe Nash to be a bit more discreet?
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Very well. Shall we set up along this picturesque lakeside or head to the Gatherer's Lodge and face more conversation?
How much money do you have?
I can always create the dome. We can find lodging there.
I'm in favor of the dome.
Please, no conversations.
Very good. The dome, then. And I'll take us, I guess that would be, if these are hour-long blocks, I'll take us 15 minutes down to, a little picturesque place off the road a bit.
You're going to have a camping night. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, so do you guys want the camping night to be RP heavy, or do you just want to kind of do camp and head to the next morning, long rest it up, and move on? What's your preference for that?
It depends.
Nash
I'm
has
good either
no-
way. I'm more leaning towards let's do a rest and let's just start the next day. But I want to give you guys the option. It's a nice picturesque, location. I mean, it's beautiful. You go to the shoreline, and it's a forest, so it's not a beach. It's like rocky, but the water is just fresh and clear. The horizon, the tree line is beautiful. The Rocky Mountains to the north, and the sun setting it's just gorgeous there. Probably the most beautiful place you've ever been to, if you're into such things.
How's the temperature?
Perfect. Like
Uh-huh.
it's warm without being too warm and not being too cold. For Hope, it's cold.
I'm going for a swim.
Nice. All right, and the water's crisp and refreshing, and as you swim and open your eyes beneath the water, you see fish everywhere.
Ooh, I will attempt to catch fish while swimming.
All right, make a survival roll, please.
9.
The fish here are quick and full of life. They must be very delicious for them to be so hard to catch.
I surface and spit water and yell at Stanley. Stanley!
Yes.
The water is fresh and the fish are abundant.
All right. Can't resist that. And Stanley will dive in and go for a swim and see if he can help assist catching a fish.
All right. So, are you skilled at survival?
As a matter of fact, I am.
Yeah, he's been the companion on the road.
Then you can give Varel advantage as you co-hunt together.
Can I roll separate from Varel?
Yes, but then Varel's helping you. This is one guy gets the roll. It's between the two of you.
I'm down to help you. You've been assisting me all day.
All right. I'll take the advantage roll on it. It's a 21.
All right. With Varel's assistance, you were able to catch fish, but Varel, with Stanley's participation, you are much more successful. And you, how long would you keep at this? Till there was enough fish for everyone, basically?
Yeah, try and get a fish or two for everybody.
All right. So you managed to collect 10 fish, 10 handsome, 10-pound fish, and just lay them right out on the stony beach. After about 2 hours.
Really well, Varel. I mean, with your keen eyes and, quite frankly, better ability to see underwater, this rapier makes quick work under the water, and we got quite a collection.
And Dilonoria, who's been watching you from the shoreline, says, "Wow, that was quite impressive. Would you like me to begin skinning and preparing the fish for a meal tonight?"
Sure.
How many fish did we catch?
10.
Okay.
10-pound fish.
Keep the heads.
Keep the heads.
Keep the heads.
Why are we keeping the heads?
I have my reasons. Just don't throw away the heads or eat them. Keep them.
Would you like the heads wrapped in wax paper or just left open?
Well,
if you wax paper with you.
If you if you have wax paper, then yes.
Yeah, it's like Dilonoria points to his very well prepared rucksack for outdoor journeying with a bedroll and all kinds of stuff. He's like, "Yes, I brought all the necessary survival camping equipment." And he reaches into his bag, pulls out a roll of wax paper, and hands it to you, Nash. He says,
"Excellent.
Will this work?"
Yes, this is great.
Perfect.
So just a reminder: nobody throw their heads away. I want the heads.
May I prepare the fish?
Yes.
Hope will watch Dildo prepare the fish.
Okay.
Do you need the eyes, Nash?
No, if possible, intact in the fish. Yes. Just the whole head on its own. No one wants that part, right? Nobody's gross here.
No, there's definitely somebody gross here. What do you need it for, Nash?
I'm not. I'm still formulating. Don't worry. It's for the betterment of the crew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Nash. You sly dog.
What?
A bait. A trap for the Barosaurus.
Sure. Yes, that's definitely what I was doing. I just need I need 1 or 2 heads. We can fashion the rest to be whatever we want, including a bear trap.
Hold out your hands, Nash.
All right, I'll put my hands out.
I'll take my claw and when you got a fish, you take it from butt to the other hole and you go zip, and you cut it, and then you just squeeze and all the eggs go shooting out. So I shoot them into Nash's hands.
Well, so has he got a bunch of fish eggs in his hands?
Yeah. Just squeeze. That's how you get them. You just squeeze the fish and they all launch out.
Awesome.
You
have
quite a
how
gesture.
Many, 300 fish eggs now?
Sure.
You can add them to your inventory if you don't eat them.
Yeah, I'm going to pocket them.
This will make a pungent bait.
I agree. And I'll put it.
Wait, how many fish eggs does a fish have?
I don't even know. A pregnant fish or a fish ready to lay. However they do it. What do they do? They're not
Common
chickens.
carp has 300,000 eggs? This can't be right.
Whoa! Through its lifetime, or one scoop, or what do they call it?
I don't know. Google said in response to my generic question, 250. But it
250.
ranges from 100 to 1,000. There's 10 fish. So are you giving him all the eggs?
I mean, I did that one, and if he desires more, there can be more made.
Do you want more?
No, 250 eggs and all the heads is enough.
Oh, you still want the heads?
Oh, I
Okay,
still
that
want
was
the
a
heads
compromise.
for sure.
Okay. Are you giving him the heads party?
Yeah, when you cut them, just give me the head.
Yeah, he can have them.
All right. Add 10 fish heads.
I don't need the tails.
Wrapped
10
in-
fish heads.
Make sure you add 10 fish heads in wax paper.
One is missing the eyes.
That's fine.
Okay, then mark that one is missing eyes.
We'll call that one Nash. No, just one eye, so we'll call him Nash. Nash the fish.
And then you also add 250 fish eggs to your inventory.
Got it.
May
Okay.
come up later. We don't know.
Oh,
Hard to say.
guaranteed, it'll come up.
All right, and okay, where were we? Oh yeah, Dilonoria. Then can he fillet the fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope I know was watching him intently. Dilonoria, is practiced at fish filleting, and it seems to know what he's doing. He gets 2 stones, and then he walks out into the bush for a minute with Nash's axe. Dilonoria asks you respectfully first, Nash, may I borrow your axe?
I'll make a quick glance to Stanley and Varel, looking for some sort of passive agreement that I can go ahead and hand him this axe, because I know they're suspicious. So
I will make a spiral symbol on my lower abdomen and whisper in the air, tapeworm.
Then I'll just give him the axe. I don't know. I won't know what that is.
So you give him the axe, and he goes out into the forest, and you can hear him cutting down 2 trees. You're duck, 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 duck. And then he comes back with 2 logs, and then he puts the logs there. He begins splitting them, and he puts some of the logs near where a campfire might be lit. And he takes the other 2 lengths of logs, and he begins splitting them down in half. And he forms 4 logs that are upright. And then he lays them all out upon the 2 rocks, the 4 logs on the 2 rocks that are cut in half upright. And he fastens them together with some rope in his pack and makes a makeshift table. And then he conducts the work of filleting the fish on top of this makeshift rock and log table. And eventually all the pieces are ready. And he says, if you would just start the fire, then we can wrap these in some aluminum foil that I have and fry them right in the fire.
Huh.
Aluminum foil, eh? All right.
Yeah, so we get aluminum foil from the manufactorum in the shipyards. It still is a space station. I know it's maybe ruining the aesthetic of our wilderness adventures, but we do have aluminum foil in Alhandar.
Sure, that's fine. Stanley will point at the fire, snap, and let the campfire light with prestidigitation.
Sweet. Whoosh. It's beautiful and pretty. He puts the fillet in there and he cooks. Do we want to just go right to eating? Do we want to have any RP tonight? Or do we just want to go straight to sleep?
I'm just going to pack up my fish heads and go to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So it's a quiet evening, but it's beautiful and very spiritual. Everyone, enjoys the fish. It is quite good, assuming you're eating some. And
I
whatever
would have
ration.
one RP,
Okay, very good. Mm-hmm.
which would be to ask Stanley, in a sense, does the hut we're sleeping in reduce smell?
Okay, hold on.
Well, while he looks it up, I'm going to set up
long
the scene
time
a little
since
bit.
I've done tiny hut. Let me.
So the sun goes down and the night fills with stars, and you're near a body of water. And so I want people to picture your 6 silhouettes from like if you were looking at it from across this lake, you just see on the shoreline a fire and some seats and a hut getting conjured, dome appear, and you would just see 6 silhouettes around a fire eating fish and talking quietly to each other underneath the twilight. You hear woo, woo, just sounds of wilderness on the lake.
No, the only thing that can't go out the spell or the spell wall is other magical spells and effects. So, in theory, smells could.
Okay. I will sleep away from Nash then. Not because he stings, but he might coax the Barosaurus down from the mountains with his stench.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay, perfect. Then I will
I could be the
do
bait.
some rolling. Now, are you guys? We're at 8:30. We're about a 30-minute mark left to the end of the session. Are you guys good to stay a little bit longer? Or do we have it hard out right at 9?
I have a
30 minutes. I'm thinking.
Well, I could probably go 10 after I've got to do a thing with my son's car when he gets here.
Okay.
So it's
just because I need a 5-minuter. I don't want to disrupt things too much close to the end of the show, but I do need a break at this point.
That's no worries.
If you guys are good with that, maybe we'll just make up the time 10 minutes towards the end and a little bit later.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
for all the logistics, but
No, it's all
Sure.
good.
if
So
that works,
5
we'll have
minutes,
a long
we'll be
rest,
back.
take 5 minutes, and return.
Yeah, we'll be right back, everybody. Okay. We're back, everybody. We're back.
All right. So the night goes by with.
Wait,
oh,
are we
yeah.
all back? I don't think everybody's
Oh,
all
I
back.
thought I saw
I think
Kyle
all back
back.
got called without 2 people here.
I thought I saw Kyle on mic, but I guess I didn't see it. Oh, there's Hope. There's Delahopio.
Dilahopio.
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
It's just what you wanted?
I feel like that's something we should have thought of at the time, and we never did.
That's a little late for my bad, terrible idea.
Delahopio.
Delahopio.
All right, we all back now?
Yep.
I think so.
All right. So I'm just going to roll a dice. Okay. The night passes without event. The crack of dawn comes early. Everyone's up, knowing that the hunt will begin. Everyone begins rousing. Then they rouse to the sound of echoing over the lake.
The hell is that?
Sounds like a cell phone buzzing on a desk.
Dilonoria snaps to attention. He goes, and he just looks at you, Stanley, intensely with his eyes. And he mows.
What?
Did you hear that?
Yes. What is it?
I think it's the creature. Echoes throughout the lake.
Oh,
this-
that's
Is that a
what
bear?
it sounds like.
I think
Are
so.
you sure that's what it sounds like?
Shakes his head no. We should rouse Stanley. Or rouse Pharrell.
All right. Varel, were you asleep in the hut or were you outside the hut?
I would have slept in the hut tonight.
Okay. Varel, Dilo here thinks he hears the creature, but he isn't sure.
I listen.
You hear echo throughout over the lake from the north.
Could I make a nature roll?
Yes, you may.
My favorite sushi. The nature roll.
8.
Doesn't sound like any bears you've heard of, but maybe. It's very distant. You can hear, your sense of location is that the scream is loud throughout the quiet morning forest and is echoing.
The good news is the police are on their way to get the creature right now.
You can hear that, eh? Damn it. They're like outside my house going, "Meow." It's not related to the game, everyone.
Bunch of elves show up in a car.
Do you have a hunting
Therapy.
permit? We're the game wardens. This illegal campsite that you've constructed must be rectified with a fire.
Can I sense if this is the sound that would be coming from a large creature or a smaller creature? Is there any way to tell?
I mean, you can do a nature check and also try to identify it.
Sure. Well, that was almost good, and then it moved a little bit, and it became a 5.
Yeah, this doesn't sound familiar. You think you can hear Ursine tones in the voice, but it's anyone's guess.
It is a construct of these elven civilizations and their craft. It's likely to sound like anything, but we should begin our way.
Master Vorel, says Dilonoria, should we plan how our approach to the forest might be? Will we all stick together, or will we form a chase line through the forest?
Do you have any inkling as to how large this creature will be?
Quite large. Perhaps the size of the cottage?
Then our best bet is to find its den first and then face it.
Perhaps not the size of the cottage. I think some things have been exaggerated, but ferocious.
Something that big should leave evidence on the ground as it moves through. These trees are very thick.
Perhaps we should find some of its poop?
Yes. That would tell us of its recent movings, as well as might have scent markers throughout the woods. But if I were a Barosaurus, I would stay here, and I point at the map where there is a small lake and a general rock rising.
Okay. Well, let me mark on the map where possible areas of investigation might be. That way we can make our decisions about where we want to go. So allow me a moment here. And he begins marking these investigation possibilities on the map. You're going to see them start popping up.
There's a lot of bears.
So these are all possible areas. They cover a lot more ground than just the up front. There you'll see there's one in the Dankwood too. I can just figure out how to do this for everyone. There we go. You should see 9 Barosaurus possibilities.
Did we triangulate the sound any?
They're rough markings. They're not exact markers of actual locations, just investigation areas. You generally felt that the sound was coming from north across the body of water.
Okay.
In the forest from the tree line. All right, they're all marked on the map.
Well, if this is a creature of myth, then it must be something that doesn't have to come around other people very often, which means it's likely going to be able to be self-sufficient to some degree with wherever it is. Must be near water, and must have a place where it can get food.
Oh, there's plenty of water, and surely plenty of game in these woods. I suggest we head towards the H in the forest here. So we're going to cross the bridge and make our way directly north.
I think that's a fine idea. Did you want us to split up or all work together?
No, we will stay together. This beast will attack ferociously and quickly, should it be spotted.
I think that's wise. Yes, I quite like that. And that would allow me time to observe you in your heroic forms. I'm
Right.
ready. And Dilonoria gathers his rucksack, straps it onto his back, and is ready to go. Should we leave our items here and set up a longer-term camp? Or should we haul all of our equipment with us?
Well, typically when we do this sort of thing, sometimes things get away from us and the ability to come back doesn't present itself. I would recommend carrying everything you need.
Understood. And then he takes his backpack and puts it on his back and, gets some water from the lake and then runs up to the bonfire and makes sure it's out by pouring some water in it. And and it's ready to go. And as you exit the dome to look around, you see Omnom is standing in full upright attention, staring north and unmoving, almost like a statue.
What troubles you, Omnom?
Our prey. It is in the stickland to the north.
You saw it.
I feel it. My scales are tingling in anticipation. He is there, and nothing will keep me from him,
Good.
except for you, my great Fang.
I will not hold you back. This is a hunt after all. We proceed.
Yes, finally. And Omnom begins walking to the bridge.
You gonna wake Nash up, or just how's that gonna go?
Is Nash still asleep?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. He is still sleeping. He had a horrible night last night because the kids were up all night, so he didn't hear any of this.
Wait, we were camping. You were camping. There's no kids.
No, the night before.
Oh, the night before.
True.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, makes sense. I had it back.
this is our first night, right? I think. I mean, first night of the camp.
Yeah, first night of the camp.
Yeah.
I forgot that you were up all night because of the kids.
Yeah.
Considering we're already kind of moving and now we're only just kind of realizing Nash has been left behind, still sleeping where the bubble used to be, Stanley will just turn, point, and cast message to speak directly into Nash's ear.
Wow.
Nash.
Ah!
Nash.
What? Stanley, what?
Time to get up.
Where's the
Put
dome?
on your big boy shoes. We're going hunting today.
I'll look around and see you guys and go, shit! And I'll get up and grab my stuff and throw it together and put it on and get out.
Has Hope woken up as well?
Oh yeah, where's Hope?
Yeah, Hope's been getting up, quietly packing her stuff.
Yeah. All right, everyone's ready to go. You may move. It's I would say it's crack of dawn, so we're looking at 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Moved.
Oof.
All right. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, hook me up. I'm crossing the bridge and heading north.
I will
Okay.
continue to assist with survival checks.
Roll your dice. All right.
Got a 17.
So you proceed to the bridge and you cross over the grasslands to the other side, and then approach to walk from the path leading to the west and into the tree line. As you enter this forest, you see that many of the trees have large trunks, and there's a lot of space between them, with leaves and grass and pine needles covering the ground. The forest smell increases as you enter into this area. The smell of life is everywhere. You spend 15 minutes walking deeper into the forest, and then you realize you're at a location where it's difficult to understand north from south, from west from east, as the landmarks disappear. However, you do have a sense of where you're oriented. You know where north is, having just left the tree line. As you've entered into the forest, the sounds that you heard in the morning have stopped. You're free to choose a direction.
I would take us further north.
Okay. Move up to 4 spaces and roll your dice.
And if possible, we'd get into that clearing on the other side of the Grush Hanari?
Yeah, this is a bad font, and I have this over top of it. Grushanai.
15.
Okay. You continue walking for another hour through the forest, and we're at 7 a.m. The crisp, cool air of the morning begins to warm a little, and the sun now shining through, the morning sun angled to the side is shining through the trees, cutting through all of the pine needles and branches. Towards the end of the hour, you hear sounds in the forest of twig snapping, of the crunching of pine needles and leaves, footsteps of something heavy. Omnom immediately stops walking and just appears to be staring at the forest as if he's reading a book and unmoving.
I would like to roll a stealth check.
Okay.
and I will use my Froghemoth mutation to make myself the color of the foliage and go 24 stealth.
That grants you advantage, I think, right?
Right.
Okay. So you change your palette of your scales to browns and greens, and you hear a gasp from Omnom, as I don't think he's seen you do this, or if he
Oh, yeah, I
has, he
guess.
hasn't paid attention. But
Oh,
he's
no. If he saw the I'm all
He's-
lizards, he would know.
yeah, he would know. But still, it's for a lizard folk, that's a very admirable thing. Like humans might just go like, "Oh, that's cool." For a lizard folk, it's like, "Holy shit, you're the chosen one!" Like that's crazy. You just hear a gasp come from him, and then he immediately follows behind you, making a stealth roll as well, getting a 20, and he climbs. He stands next to you, and I think we can do this. If you refer to roll 20, there should be a new battle map opening up. And it will probably be mostly blackened for you, except for the bottom right corner. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I still have some stuff to reveal. So hang on, Nash, you're there. Just I got to reveal more areas.
No worries.
Nash has been left behind.
No,
No,
more
I just didn't.
Nash.
I didn't clear the full view of the bottom there. Okay, so as you can see, you're in on a path in the forest. Varel, I'm going to move you just maybe a little more up. I'll put Omnom behind you. And the rest of the party, so we had Hope and Nash, and Stanley was up ahead of you, and Dilonoria was behind you, Stanley. Okay, so there you go. You guys see the part of the battle map I'm speaking of?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. So you make your both Vorel and Omnom hug the side of the rock wall, and the forest being above the sort of natural forming cliff side of the path you're on in the forest.
All right, well, we're hiding and looking out.
Okay. Do any of the party members want to hide, or are they just going to continue standing in the path?
Yeah, I'd follow Varel's lead and move stealthily to kind of take cover and hide.
All right.
Yeah.
Then everyone makes stealth checks. Dilonoria comes in behind you. I'll make one for Dilonoria.
Mine's a 19.
He's got a 23.
Mine's
24.
a nat 20.
All right, so everyone channeling their talent for being quiet and unseen moves to the side of the natural formed rock, small cliff face. Like it only goes up about 5 feet, and then you see trees above it. You go to hug beside the naturally forming cliff face, and you're now all quietly huddled up in a corner of nature. And as everyone sits still and remains quiet, then you hear the sound of maybe like a tree falling over, but not quickly, just like, and then you hear some loud footsteps breaking pine needles and twigs echo through the forest.
All right, for now, I would just lay low. Let the sound continue. No point peeking at something that's revealing itself.
Okay, how much time would you like to let elapse?
As long as the sound is moving in our area or towards us, I would let it go.
Okay, group perception roll, please.
How do you want that?
Perception.
Everyone just roll and give me your figures.
Okay.
I'll roll for the 2 NPCs.
22.
15.
16.
All right, so everyone hears after 10 minutes of silence, including no twig snapping or footsteps, you hear a
It's a horse.
more twig snapping and neat like sounds of forest manipulation of some kind carry forward from the north.
From our point, is this what we can see, or would looking over the 5-foot high cliff offer
No, you
more
can
vision?
see everything I've revealed as far as you can see sort of down the path there.
Okay.
If you'd like to see further, you can raise your head over and look to the west or whatever. As far as Well, we'll see how far it gets.
Yeah, I'd like to attempt to advance to the next cliff edge and shadow.
Okay, next cliff edge and shadow.
So basically
Right.
make a run around the corner here up to the next junction.
Oh, nice sketch. Awesome. All right, do that. Are you trying to do that and maintain stealth or any
Yes.
other action while you do that? Okay, then
I would like to be stealthy about this.
make your stealth roll, please.
With a 24.
All right, move your token over.
I advance into the shadows.
Okay, I'm going to reveal a bit more area up front as you get close. You can see a little farther down. Now, nothing comes into view, and you quietly make your way up to the next part of the path. And Omnom also, taking your lead, follows without needing orders. And he runs up quietly. Let me see. Let me get the controller here. He runs up quietly, but as he moves around the corner, he's still injured from he's still recovering from his injuries, and he drags a foot across the sand, making a loud sound across the ground. And then he finishes and runs over to where you are. But he's clearly made an audible sound throughout the forest, and you hear the sound of whatever it is calling out, "Stop." He has noticed me, Great Fang.
Silence. We will sit
He's silent.
still.
Okay. All right, stealth roll. Is everyone still stealthing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Group stealth, please. Now, if anyone wants to make a movement before we do this group stealth, they can, but let me know.
Oh, yeah, I would. Stanley, just to try and get a better vantage and kind of seeing what Pharrell and Omnom are doing, is going to try and climb up this little wall here and kind of take cover on a higher ground behind this tree.
Okay, perfect. I will reveal some areas as a result of you being able to see better to the west now.
And then that's where I would stealth from.
Okay. And I'm going to reveal up to there. Perfect. Okay. So, all right. Anyone else making any movements?
I'm going to move here,
Okay.
there, where they used to be in the shadow before I make my stealth move.
All right. And Hope, are you staying put?
No, she's gonna stealth up to where the lizards are.
All right. Group a stealth roll, please.
22.
Hold on. It cleared for me.
13.
8.
Okay. All right. So the party, Varel, the party is now, as time moves on, the party's ability to be sustained and stealthy, you notice, is declining. As you notice, like the sounds of fidgeting and clothes rustling. Nothing that as bad as what Omnom did, but your general appraisal of the party is that they're going to create a lot of noise. They all move into position without any event, and after 10 minutes goes by, you are reassured by the sound of and you hear like some sort of scratch, like
Is Nash looking around the corner at me? Can I
Yes.
see him, or is he sitting still?
No, I'm looking at you.
Okay. I make the following gestures with no help for the audio listeners. It's like,
What? What? Oh. I think he wants the fish head bait. And I'll say I'll just do a thumbs up toward him. And then I'll pull out a fish head wrapped in that wax paper. I'll take some of my fish eggs and smear them in there with it. So now I got a fish head with some eggs all smeared on its head. And then then Nash will wonder how he wants it, how I should get it to him. So I'm gonna mock that I'm kind of throwing it like this with a questioning look on my face. Like, should I throw it at you? And wait for Varel to do something.
All right, Varel begins gesticulating again for audio listeners. He's playing piano, and the piano is floating into the air as he plays it.
I think he wants me to float. Okay. I'm going to float.
All right.
Really high. Not really high, but high enough where no bear's going to think to look up.
Top of the tree line?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Okay.
Yep, and then I'll over to where...
Are you farting while you move?
No, it's like
That's a great fly sound.
It'll be like that. I'll fly over where Varel is, and I will lower down very, very quietly, and land softly and hand him the wrapped bait bomb.
Okay. You notice that when you float, in spite of that little noise you make, I don't know where that's coming from because it's your DNA that's underwear.
Yeah.
You actually don't make any noise. There's no fans. There's not unless you're farting to propel yourself.
It's just in my own
The
head.
little hat with the propeller on it. That's
Yeah.
going.
So if you want to RP it like you make noise, I don't want to take that away from you.
I
but
don't, no.
You
It's
can
all in
float
my head.
silently if you wish to.
I will totally
So-
float silently. It's all in my head.
You can do both. We can have both. You can
in
turn
my-
it off, and then you can turn it on.
In my head, Nash remembers old cartoons of the Jetsons and how the ships all went like that all the time. And so in his head, he's just imagining it. Helps him fly. But outside,
so-
he's not making any sense.
Nash floats up to you.
What do you do? Oh, and then I hand him the thing. I hand him the wax paper ball.
He hands you a crumply wax paper ball with squishy stuff inside.
I say, here's the fish head, but some fish eggs for bonus stink.
Varel regrets his decision.
All right, on that, Dilonoria gets up some nerve and decides to try and run up with the rest of the party. All right, he manages to succeed on a stealth roll, and he runs up and gets in with you guys.
Yeah, seeing everybody move forward, Stanley would also move forward, staying to the high ground, but maybe moving up to there.
Okay, we'll count your stealth roll as part of this, so you move quietly to the next thing. You realize up here there's a lot more pine needles and twigs on the ground, and stealth checks up in this area are going to be much more difficult.
That's fine. I'm good at stealth.
Sweet.
Okay.
We'll reveal a bit more ground for you to see as a result of your movement.
I would like
Fish
to,
dexterity.
using my Storm Soul fire feature to light things on fire, unattended objects. I will light the... Would that work? I guess it doesn't matter, but, for science. I will light the top of the wax paper and see if it starts to burn.
That's a great idea. And it should. Wax paper would... I've burned wax paper before. It would totally work.
I'm totally not looking up whether wax paper burns or not.
Maybe it burns like a candle because it got wax in it. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Perfect burning.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
No, that doesn't answer my question. I think it does.
Yeah, it totally does.
Yeah, for sure it does, right? How to make a fire starter with wax paper. Okay. Yep, all right. I see wax paper. I see it on fire. Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, so you want to let it... You're going to use your storm soul to light it on fire?
Yep, just the top. So I kind of make a bit of a candle out of it. And then I'm going to, granny bowl style with my back to where it's going, bend down into a squat, and then hurl it over my head.
Backwards.
Send it flying up behind me as far as I can get it to go.
Okay, so let me just see if I can't find a fish head token.
Oh, that'd be great.
Surely this has happened before in D&D.
Yeah.
Fish.
How could it
head.
not have?
Yeah, somebody somewhere dig it. Or dog
Did anyone make that acid pack on roll 20, please? Fish soup. Well, that's kind of close. There we go.
I love
All
that
right,
that exists.
It's just a picture of fish. There we go. Fish head, we call it. What is it? Fish head bait. All right. Just so we remember what it is. All right. So you want to fire it. Make an athletics roll, please.
All right. It's a 15.
All right. So. All right. And did you want it going north or more west or northwest? Where, if you could ping somewhere on the map where you'd like to see it or the direction.
I want to send it hurtling into the darkness here, however far I can get it to go.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me get my ruler. Okay, perfect. So with your 15, you rifle it 150 feet. Okay, and it ends up right in this pile of trees here. You toss it and it lands on that in that dead tree in the forest, and sort of drops down into the bushes. And you lit it aflame, right?
Right.
Okay, I have to remember that.
Oh no.
Flaming fish head
Flaming
bait.
fish bait.
All right, and as so, yeah, you fired it into the bush, and you don't have sight of it anymore. But that's where I marked it, is where it landed. Cool. All right, and what's going to happen after?
After that, I think I will scurry up this edge and try to get behind this tree to watch the bait location.
Okay, perfect. So you're just going to sit and wait and see what happens?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you wait 10 minutes. Everyone, 10 or 15.
I
Is
gotta be
everyone else
honest.
going to do that?
If
Mhm.
Stanley saw a flaming thing get launched into the woods,
Mm-hmm.
he would be worried about things catching fire, and he would move to see what's happening and would be moving closer. He'd be moving swiftly, but still trying to be stealthy.
Okay, so that's not. So you're going to hide behind that bush there that you see on the map?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's reveal some areas as you. So Stanley, you fire it up into the air, and Stanley immediately and very quietly, make a stealth roll, please. Moves deeper into the forest towards where you threw it, but keeping distance from it.
An 11.
Okay, and as you walk, you make a loud snap of twigs, and there's the sounds of whatever it is crying out to the forest goes silent. All right, so you make your way further. I'm just going to reveal more parts of the map here. That's just what I'm doing so you can see a little better. So it opens up to you some more of this view. Okay. Oops, sorry. Sorry, it's not the best. Dynamic lighting is better, but I don't have it right now. All right. So I'm just going to open up some possibility here for you. All right. And you can now, you do see the fish head from your vantage point to the bush under the thing. And you're just going to watch it.
If I'm gonna stay in place, but if it looks like the fire is starting to spread and going to become a danger, Stanley would go to address it.
Okay, perfect. So after a few moments, did you make your stealth roll? Oh, you did already.
I did. It wasn't great.
After a few moments, a little fire begins to emerge underneath, like where the tree is, and you see a fire begin to start.
Oh no!
It begins cackling.
Okay, Stanley would move as soon as he started to see it grow. Like, in theory, probably would have tried to move before that, because Prestidigitation's ability to snuff fire is pretty limited. But I can snuff out a small campfire's worth of fire, and he would move within 10 feet and just start trying to put out fire.
Okay, yeah, I made it this size, but it's just, you can see it just as it's starting. So, all right, so you move in, and what do you cast?
Prestidigitation to snuff out flame.
What are the components required for that?
Verbal and somatic.
Okay, so you can say those things quietly. Somatic won't make noise. Make a stealth roll for the spell, please.
Okay. I have a high modifier. Hopefully the roll's decent. 15.
Okay, perfect. So you approach forward. You don't believe you've made any noise. I have a thing to do on my end. What's the range you got to be in? Did you
10
go to
feet.
max range? 10 feet. Okay, so you walk up close to it and you press digitate it, and the fire goes out, and a little smoke still rises off the surface. Okay. And you hear, after you put the fire out, you hear over the air. It's closer, and you hear it coming from the forest to the north. And then you begin to hear footsteps. They're getting closer, Stanley. Varel, and the rest of the party hears that as well.
I will lean over the edge here to my companions who are hiding beneath and whisper, "Positions, positions."
The footsteps grow quicker and quicker, as does the end of the episode. I think what we'll do here is footsteps draw closer to Stanley, who's in the forest, just with a smoldering pile of forest and fish heads and wax paper. The rest of the party begins taking positions, and what I'd like for you to do, your homework this week, will be to take position in this forest for an upcoming encounter, which we'll find out what it is next week on There Will Be Dungeons.
Nice. Freaking Stanley and his freaking Boy Scout fire putting out instincts. Damn it.
We definitely didn't get to as far as I thought we would today. We're still hunting, but it was a great episode with a lot of like moments leading up to this. So I'm super excited for next week.
It's good stuff. All right. It's also very stealthy. I'm feeling very stealthy right now, and I like that once in a while. Just have that feeling.
You're hunting in a real forest. It's amazing. We haven't done this ever.
Yeah,
and it's like
a good point.
It's D&D staple.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this either via video live or later or on the podcast, whatever it may be, remember you can support this show by going to therewillbedungeons.com, become a Dungeons Plus member, get bonus shows, get artwork in the mail, get all sorts of stuff you can't get any other way except by becoming one of those members. If you've been on the edge for a while and you're just not sure, let me help push you over. You're sure now. Go do it. As sure as Stanley was going to put that fire out by the fish bomb, you are going to go sign up to be a Dungeons Plus member. So head on over there and do that. Also get your questions in at therewillbedungeons.com. There be Dungeons on Twitter. You can find all of us on Twitter on the site as well. So check it out. Therewillbedungeons.com. That's going to do it for us. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. For me, for Kyle, for Kristen, for John, for Bo, and for Baby Chunks. Have a good one. And we'll see you next time. Shit. Didn't play right. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.